And the thing, hold on, my stream's so unprofessional. And I think we're live, guys. And I think we're the only guys here. You all right? How you doing, Sergio? There's no point in saying hello to everybody else because everybody else is here. You all right,
Hello.
Michael? You all right,
We are,
Roy?
yeah.
Vicky? And you all right, Sergio? How you doing, man? We're all good? All good. So as you know, tonight's stream is just there's no topic, it's just random, whatever I want to talk about. I've got a video that I want to get quickly watch the 9-minute one. It's just about maintenance in China. It's some guy called Serpenta that did it. So I just want to quickly watch that and maybe something that Terry Ecker put out. I know he put it out today, but it's probably an older video, but it's God give you a brain, use it sort of thing. So there you go.
I sure did.
Yeah, he did. He definitely give us a brain. Definitely give us a brain. So are you all good, babe? Is everything cool? Sorted and stuff?
Right.
Look,
Yeah, what's up?
This is working.
Just say hello to me in here, you know.
Hello, Michael.
All right, I see. Private chat.
I put it in nice big caps for you too, so you wouldn't miss it.
Got you. All right. Yeah, there's only 3 watching, so it's only us guys. So there's no point in speaking to the audience when we are our audience. I mean, so any guys got anything to say before I put on this video? I suppose it's random. We can just do what we want in it. So I mean, I did have well, there's no point in mentioning it to people because nobody in chat. I'll mention it if anybody comes in chat. I'll mention my little idea I had earlier. But in the meantime, I suppose we could watch this video.
Give it time. Sometimes it takes a little while for people to notice.
Of course. Sometimes it's like what was it? Jesus Freak Supergate. Dave said today in his video. He says it usually takes about 20 minutes after going live before people get the blooming message. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
If you even get one.
True. Yeah. If you get one.
A lot of people don't.
At all. That's it. Actually, we'll watch the before I put on that China one, I'll just put on the Terry Ecker one because that's only 4 minutes. We can just watch that through. There's no point in commenting that. It's just a watch through. And then the China one is only about 9 minutes long. We can comment on that if you want. So we'll put that on.
Alrighty then.
And I didn't share it yet, did I? No, I did not. You silly person. Oh no, what's that on there? All right, I got you. I see what it's doing.
If I don't answer you guys right away or something, or if it seems like I'm not paying attention, it's not because I'm not. It's because I'm helping give my wife a shower, so that I have to get done right now.
Absolutely, no problem, dude.
So bear with me. I'll do what I can to try to answer if you guys ask questions or whatever.
No problem, dude. No problem. All right, shall we do this thing? Right.
Everyday evidence proving that the moon is transparent. I mean, you can see stars through the moon sometimes, as you can see here. And this right here would be impossible if the moon was a solid rock that you could land on. Remembering that you believe it's a solid rock that you could land on because...
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? Like, so I've seen that before.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. When I look at moon, I can see that other part of it, and it looks solid to me.
Yeah. When I first started seeing the that's the stars to the moon, initially I was like, yeah, I totally believe it because that's the type of things that they've been hiding. But the more you think about it, I'm not sure. I still think it's a possibility.
I'm not saying you can't. What I'm saying is I've not witnessed it. That's what I find.
The only way I've witnessed it is through videos and stuff. So personally, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't looked through a telescope to be able to see it, the moon. Not a big enough telescope to be able to see that anyway, or a good enough telescope. But no, so I'm not too sure on that one. I would still say it's possible because we don't know what the moon is. I don't think it's a rock. So if it's some kind of plasma, say, or whatever, it's possible. It's possible, but they're in the same biblically. They're in the same place. So I don't know. That mean they don't have to be right next to each other. They just says in the firmament. So biblically they're in the same place. So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure, but I think it's definitely a certain possibility. You know what I mean? What about you, babe? Have you ever heard of that before, babe?
No. That's the first
You've never
time
heard of people seeing the
No.
stars of the moon. You haven't heard that one yet.
No.
I think I have said it to you, but at the time you were a hardcore.
But what I do,
Hardcore baller.
Hardcore baller at the time.
no, but what is interesting though is there's flags where it shows you like crescent moons with stars in it and that. So
yeah.
I don't really know what to think of it. To be honest.
No, I certainly believe it's possible because, as I said, we don't know what the moon is. Not like the pseudoscientists in NASA. They know what the moon is, don't they? It is for us. They know it's petrified wood. We know nothing. You know what I mean? Because that's the moon rock they brought back was petrified wood, wasn't it? So there we go.
Spudrick.
They show you this bull crap here.
Sorry. Oh, Spud, how you doing, man? Good to see you, dude. Good to see you, man.
Which has been proven time and time again that it's nothing but a hoax. And the only time that science can duplicate a lunar eclipse is by giving you a computer-generated video of how one ball moves in front of another ball to form a shadow on that ball. And you've never seen any of this with your own eyes. You've seen it on TV, or you read it in a book, or you heard it from NASA. And therefore, disregarding your inner wisdom, your common sense, your basic instinct that tells you when you look up at the moon, you see a transparent moon. You see the sky through the moon because it's a transparent moon. And now the first thing some of you flat earthers said when I posted the eclipse video was, it's the...
Yep.
See, I don't know if I agree with that either, that you can see sky through moon, because when you look at planes, you know, when you look at planes that are high up in the sky, sometimes they look blue as well, like you can see through them. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, a plane's not transparent, is it?
Again, same with, I know what you're saying, exactly what you're saying. That a plane is smaller, so the I don't know the effects in it, the visual effects.
What I mean is, like the white bottom at plane looks blue.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Got you. So kind of like the color of the sky bleeds onto the plane.
It's as though that in between me and plane gives you that blue look. You know what I mean? I don't think that you're seeing through things and seeing the sky. I'm not so sure you're looking through the moon and seeing blue sky.
No, I'm not sure. Again, with this one, it's the same. I'm not sure what the moon is, so it's definitely possible, but I'm not sure. And this one, I did know before stars through the moon, and I did agree with it. I was like, yeah, every time I see that blotchiness on the moon, it's the same color as the sky behind it. It's either dark or it's blue, or it's almost the same. So I used to agree with it. But as you know, learn to be more critical of things, especially when you've got to be to do with, especially flat Earth, you know. I'm not sure.
It's just the fact that if you observe other things doing the same thing and they're not transparent, then
exactly, then you've got to eliminate everything.
Because you can't just because everybody says the moon's transparent, don't make the moon transparent, does it?
No, of course not. Of course not. We don't know what it is to say that, but it's possible, obviously. You know what I mean? We're not certain on this like NASA's and all these pseudoscientists. They like to say they know it's a rock orbiting a globe Earth when we know that's BS. You know, crazy.
The moon, it's just the new moon. It's invisible. That's why it blocks the sun. You can't see it before it gets to the sun or after. But if you could see the stars through the transparent moon, then you would see the sun shine through the transparent moon. Now, come on, people. God gave you a brain. Use it. That eclipse was not the moon passing in front of the sun, regardless of how much awake you think you are. Now, as for you globe earthers, so you can choose to believe the solid rock sun reflection bullcrap because that's what they told you, or you can believe your inner wisdom, your common sense, and your basic instinct, which is...
See, it's when I used to see it like that, I would say, yeah, it certainly is the sky behind it. But as Michael put forward, with the plane and all that, you don't know. You really don't know. There's a lot of effects that's going on, like the ballers try to use, don't they? Refraction, all that. There's a lot of apparent things going on that we don't know. And when there's too many don't knows, then you can't make a claim on it. You can't, because we don't know what the moon is. We don't know what effects are actually happening to things round about it or it itself. You can't exactly make a positive claim on it, can you?
No, not at all.
It's what you
No.
see with your own eyes. But in the end, the only difference between globe earthers and flat earthers is flat earthers take it upon faith that the men who wrote the Bible are.
Spud said, when the moon is near the sun, we should see a dark patch or shadow from the moon in the sky. But yeah, I get you, man. I get you. Again, it's just like we just can't make any positive claims at all, can we? When we don't know, it's different when you're actually doing measurements and stuff like that. You're actually doing something that you can make a positive claim on. You know what I mean? You're physically doing it, but when you're not, you can't. You know?
Telling the truth. Globe earthers take it upon faith that the men who wrote the science books are telling the truth.
I'm not going to stand here, present some egghead scientific argument based on fact. And I can't change their mind. I won't change my mind because I don't have to. I won't change my mind on anything, regardless of the facts that are set out before me.
Mac, look, you're wasting our time. You're not going to get us to not believe.
And why is that?
Because the smartest scientists in the entire world all agree that it's real.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because, Mr. Reynolds, science is a liar sometimes.
This is insane, you fool!
I'm a
Science, pseudoscience is a liar sometimes. I mean, all the time.
It's insane, you fool.
Pseudoscience is lying all the time.
Science can't lie because
Exactly. Because it's a method.
it's empirical to find out cause for
Yes.
something.
So pseudoscientific stuff is lies. So just a little correction there to him. But I think it's pretty cool what he does here, actually.
fool because I have more faith in the saints that wrote the Bible?
Yeah, because you just read the words of a bunch of guys that you never met, and you just take it on faith that everything they wrote was true.
And what makes you think what your scientists are writing is any more truer than my saints?
Because there are volumes of proven data, numbers, figures.
Have you poured through the data yourself? The numbers, the figures?
Well, no. I mean, no.
Oh, interesting. So let me get this straight, Mr. Reynolds. You get your information from a book written by men you've never met, and you take their words as truth based on a willingness to believe, a desire to accept, a leap of, dare I say it, faith?
Come on.
Touche.
Bingo.
I like that.
Come on. Look, I mean, I don't even know how I'm supposed to respond to that. Like, come on. That's a false equivalency.
Just answer the question, Mr. Reynolds.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
I rest my case.
Oh, that got me. Yeah.
Thank you, Frank. Oh my God.
So there's that then. Yeah, it is an older video, isn't it? It's definitely an older video, but he kind of does
I
rehash.
never watched that show, but when I saw that, I was like, I need to watch this show.
Yeah, no, Terry Eicher, he's pretty good. Are you sub to him, Terry Eicher?
No.
I'm not sure.
Let me just see if I could get I'll just get his link now. If I can go to my subs, if it'll let me. On the side, why are you taking so long to be an idiot? Right, so it's flat out truth, isn't it?
But it is true what they said, because whether you believe the Bible or scientists, you still believe in somebody that, and you don't know for definite, whatever. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Exactly.
to say it's a globe, you are putting faith in people that you don't know.
Yep, exactly, babe. Exactly.
Would you trust a book that's however many hundreds, thousands of years old, whatever? Or would you trust men that are getting paid loads of money to do something and say something?
Probably neither.
No, but you're more likely to trust the Bible because of how old it is. And
Yeah, of course.
Well,
Of course,
it's not
I'm just kidding.
exactly. Well, yeah, babe, and how it's kind of the Bible has proven itself. You know what I mean? Through with our archaeological digs, stuff like that.
yeah,
Through history and through prophecy, especially like there's been a lot of prophecy fulfilled, and how it bears witness to your spirit. Simple as that. Things that you know, the wisdom of the Bible is evident in well, not all Christians, obviously. Do you know what I mean? But what it says applies to what's going on in the world today and for since ever. You know what I mean? It applies to everything that's going on. There's nothing new under the sun. And biblically, it says that. Proverbs is full of wisdom. It says stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So,
but you
yeah.
believe one or the other.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Ryan, that's Terry Eicher's link in YouTube chat for you. If you want to sub
The
to
only
him.
difference is we get mocked for believing what we believe.
Well, that's true. That's very true. We do.
Mm-hmm.
We also mock Globers, though, don't we?
We do.
That's because they're idiots, to be fair.
Yeah. But it's they're the ones that kind of like, I mean, I dare say there is flat earthers. It's certainly not the ones that we know as such, but they come looking for us. They come into our chats. They come into our comments and troll.
Yeah, but they
Fine if if
stalk.
you're interested, but just to troll and tell you how wrong we are, it's ridiculous. We don't go to make tunes. Michael's always said that. I've always said that. I don't go to make tunes. I don't go to FTFEs. The only time I've ever gone there was only anything to do with flats. You know what I mean? Through a debate or something. Never in general would I go there and watch any Globe channel because it's got nothing interests me because I simply know it's wrong. The Globe is
Even
completely
when I
wrong.
was a Glober, I didn't like Globers.
No,
I didn't
you
come
didn't.
across one nice Glober on YouTube
Anti-flat
before I
earther.
became a
Anti-flat
flat
earther.
earther.
Yeah. Because there is some nice Globers like Scott Gog or whatever his name is. He seems all right. Mopped. He seems okay. You're
I'm
mopped.
on
and
about
stuff
when
like
I
that.
first.
Oh yeah, of course. No, I'm talking about just differentiate between
I'm not
Bollard
talking
and
about
Glenn.
now because obviously we removed most of them.
Yeah, of course.
But
I noticed you never uploaded an
Mini.
avatar, babe.
It's because I was having difficulties with stuff. But
I know. Yeah, it's been-
no, like I used to time Globers out when I was a Glober because they're rude and there's no need for it. And like if you, for me, the mentality of somebody that doesn't believe it thinks we're all stupid, yet you sit every night and watch it.
Exactly.
Like, what does that say about you as a person?
Yeah, but the strive to tell you that as well, that they're just watching it because it's funny, or so they're mocking you anyway. Like they don't deserve to be there.
No, of course not. No, of course
No,
not.
but,
Sometimes I'm
like-
too lenient on them. Sometimes I'm way too lenient, and I still get called. Like Michael, you've always been called since I've started in flats. You've always been called harsh to them. They always think you're harsh, and I've seen a hell of a lot harsher. Do you know what I mean? I get called harsh, and I'm quite timid with them. Now I don't tend to time them out. If a troll comes in, I'll ban them. If someone's out of order, I'll time them out. But if it's a troll, they're banned instantly now, pretty much.
No, tell the truth. You text me and tell me
see-
I want this one.
You say that, yeah. Sometimes,
So
because I
that
know you'll
I
get there
don't
first.
time them out.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he does.
absolutely. Because if I don't do it, you'll get there first. If you...
I know. You're not fast
Yeah,
as
I mean-
last.
Well, that's it. But yeah, it's one of them. But yeah, they're going about being harsh. I mean, when I went into Gerrans the other week, just for flats being there and their thing, and I was talking to Lutz, and they were all talking crap about me and Vicky and that. I'm like, and Norman Cross stuck up for me. I'm like, wow, Lutz going on about how bad I am to him when I've never done anything but treat him all right. You know what I mean? I tell them, yes, I think you're a troll when you're in chat, but when you talk to us, not so bad. And Pirate Man, somebody called Pirate Man told me, oh, leave him alone, stop bullying him and stuff. I think it was Pirate Man, something like that.
Yeah.
And then he turned around and says, oh, you can't
ban.
ban me here, PJ. Kind of like, no. I'm like, dude, I probably didn't even ban you in the first place. I do remember the name, but I probably
I
didn't
ban him
you in the first
everywhere I
place.
see him.
He's in
But
PJ's
yeah.
chat, you know.
Is it?
Yeah, he's in
Right.
my comments. Private man, yeah. Yeah, he's in my comments.
Make sure to tell him you can ban him there, though. Nah.
Exactly.
No, I'd just ban him. I ain't that nice. I'd just ban him. I don't care. Like when
He sent message and then ban, so they receive that message and then they can't reply. It's best way.
who was it that moaned to you that you were banning them and it wasn't even you, it was me?
Andrew Johnson.
And I was like, it was me that banned you.
He came in as Andrew Johnson. Vic, I
Calling
let
PJ babe and saying I love you
yeah,
and all
love.
this shit.
Called me love, and I said, please don't get through with me and all that. He says, you won't be saying that to my face. And he said, oh, I would say that to your face. I just wouldn't be.
No,
I
you
wouldn't be
wouldn't.
in that way. You're not my type. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm not into this kind of talk. You know what I mean? So,
Like,
you know what I mean?
there ain't no need for it.
No, of course. So Vicky banned him eventually.
Oh,
I said, leave him for a bit, but she ended up banning him because he was a pain in the butt, and he came into my other chat as Edward, the Eduardo, whatever it is, Aquarius, whatever.
That's when I got called a dog, a
yeah,
mad
that's
dog unleashed,
Yeah, that's
because
right.
I
So
banned Andrew Johnson.
yeah. So yeah, and he said, "Oh, thanks for banning me. You're just as what is it, a coward or something like that as Flats. You know what I
No,
mean? You
just
can't
don't
take any
want.
critique." I said, "I never bloody banned you. So I don't know what you're talking about."
Look,
You know what I
I
mean?
don't care what you are, what gender, whatever. Just be what you want to be, right? But don't go into my partner's chat and act like a homosexual. I'm really sorry, but it annoyed me.
Like
You
so
may
much.
be that way, but don't ever go into my partner's chat and put shite like that.
Dark fruity.
No,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
calling you
A bit
babe going, I
shandy
love
like.
you.
yeah.
Like, go suck a doorknob.
Well, I'm
Homo.
sure he's sold plenty of them. But there we go. Yeah, cool. Ryan, you got anything to say, dude?
Ryan's busy.
Oh yeah, of course. He said, didn't he? If he doesn't answer, he's busy. Yeah. Of
Well, then
course.
what else are we watching then?
It's that.
I heard you, but yeah, I'm busy.
Oh no, you're busy. It's cool, man. Just chime up when you're not busy, man. It's cool. Don't worry. Sergio then. Sergio's.
You know he's not busy. He's not talking.
How you doing, dude? How you doing? What you saying, man?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Sergio in the house, guys. You good?
Yo.
Yeah, I just got home. I was out moving some stuff out of the storage for my brother, and
Cool.
it was good. Yeah. Thanks for asking. How's everybody?
Yeah, all good, man. All good.
bad.
All good. Like I say, it's just a fill-in stream for Flats sort of thing. Yeah, so it's not. It's just like as the thumbnail says, it's just random. But yeah, no, the next video I've got is kind of like it's just it's this guy called. I'll share it. Hold on, let's share it first. This guy called
Michael and Vicky
I think.
and Ryan.
How's it going?
Oh,
Bill?
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
Michael, say water.
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 course.
Water. Paul Joe,
Water.
say water.
So what's his name? Sorry, his name's Serpenza. Say again, babe.
Say water.
Say again, babe.
Say water.
Water. Why? Water. Why? You want me to say English?
No,
Water.
just wanted to see the
Water.
difference in how we say water.
Walter.
Oh, what? Water.
Water.
Yeah, this is a guy. This guy's called Serpenza. It's just about. I only watched a little bit up until like the sponsor. And it's just about like maintenance in like commercial places in China. And yeah, the first clip of it I seen, I was like, no way. It was like a guy falling through an elevator. They were messing about in a mall and fell against an elevator door, like lift doors, and fell through it and went down the shaft. I'm like, wow, it's ridiculous. And people in escalators and that. So I just thought I'd share it and see what it's like, man. So yeah, comment, just shout, tell me to stop.
I'd like to share 3 nightmare scenarios with you. 1. You're shopping for clothes in China.
Oh, wow.
Number 2. You're fooling around next to an elevator in China.
It's crazy, man. Watch. That's mental.
And number 3, you want to take an escalator in China.
Wow.
I mean, this is not set up clips, you know, like you get on CNN and all that. These are kids and stuff, you know what I mean?
So what do these 3 things have in common?
That's crazy dangerous, isn't it? It's mental, man. Crazy stuff. But yeah, I'll just leave it going.
Well, it's quite simple. And it all has to do
9
with
minutes going, all
maintenance.
right.
Lack of maintenance, and in fact, not
Yeah.
lack of maintenance, malicious and willful cheating of maintenance. Now, bear with me. I've got quite the story to tell you. But before we do, a quick word from today's sponsor.
Cheating of maintenance.
No.
For various other tasks too. They also help you beat price discrimination. Internet,
Wow, man. How long does sponsors take? There we go.
Serpent ZA. Again, go
Wow.
company in Xiamen has been tricking people into thinking that maintenance has been done on elevators. Now, this is no surprise to me. Okay, maintenance, when it comes to elevator maintenance in China, it's a joke. I've lived in buildings where it's simply not done, but they'll get a guy who comes and rubber stamps it and says, oh, maintenance was done, and they just sign it off without any maintenance actually having been done. I was once in an elevator that free fell for about 4 floors before the emergency brakes cut in and stopped it. It was terrifying. My friend who owned an apartment.
Has anybody ever been stuck in a lift?
No.
Oh, I have.
Roboting.
But I
What?
tend not to use them if possible. Like, if I can use stairs, I will.
It's like one of my greatest fears.
Yeah, it is
Oh,
mine.
wow. My little sister, she had bad anxiety when she was 15, and she still won't go in a lift. She won't go up a lift. It doesn't matter if it's how many floors she'll go up the stairs. Obviously, if she was in the US, she wouldn't be able to go up the stairs. She'd have to take the elevator up to like 100 floors and stuff like that. You don't get 100 floors here in the UK, but
You
yeah,
probably do in London.
don't know about 100, babe.
I don't know. I don't know how
I'm
big.
sure. I mean, it
Might
is quite
feel
high
like it.
in London, but I don't think you'd get 100. Don't think so. You might, because that's like 100's about 1,000 foot high, then, isn't it? Because say about 900 foot ish. Say 9 foot per level. It's about 9. It's like so. It's really. I don't know, babe. I'm not sure.
After about like 10 flights, it's gonna feel like 100.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I've been stuck. I was stuck for like I think about an hour.
Really?
And yeah, it was crazy because it was so mad though, because it was just a little build. It's got about 13 floors. It's here in Coventry. It was about in 2010 when my best mate, he was a professional boxer, Richie the Tiger Evett. He's dead now though. But I got stuck in the lift with him. It was just going up to my flat, and I was on the 3rd floor. So I was going from the ground, like you would call that first floor, Sergio, we call it
Yeah.
ground, and then you've got first floor. And then we pressed 3 to go up to 3, and then all of a sudden it was stuck. Within 2 seconds, it was stuck. But when we was calling out to people, they were telling them that we were stuck between the 8th and 9th. So when we finally got out, we were stuck between the 8th and 9th. But it was like we pressed the button, 2 seconds later, we were stuck. It doesn't take 2 seconds. It takes more than 2 seconds to get to the 3rd. But yeah, when we got out, we was between the 8th and the 9th, and it kind of done my nut. It was like, what on earth happened there? We didn't feel ourselves slowly going up or anything. I don't know. Maybe it must have gone up somehow, but unless it went up there in that amount of time, but we would have felt that kind of G-force. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Only the one time I've been stuck. That my sister will not go in an elevator at all. I hate calling it elevator. I'm saying it because there's Americans.
A lift.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
my laces stuck in an escalator.
Escalator. Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be scary, dude. That'd be scary. Did you take your shoe off? Or did it just snap the laces?
Just ripped them and snapped them, but like my
Panic.
shoe looked like my trainer looked right stupid because it was right pulled tight.
Oh no. It's getting off an escalator I don't like. I don't mind being on it. It's getting off. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good, is it?
I don't like those
No.
things.
especially when there's loads of people. So you're literally someone right behind you,
Mm.
and you feel like you've got to run off, and it's horrible. You do though, don't you?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't like it.
That's true. That's true. Ooh. Oh, I was going to say, I thought we had somebody else. I just seen the heaven. I thought we've got somebody else because I'm used to calling you Sergio, and I just seen Heavenly Flesh. I thought, oh, we've got somebody else. Sorry, Sergio.
I was still setting up.
I got you. Right, there we go. Just shout me if you want me to stop.
In a building, the elevator collapsed with an entire family inside. Luckily, nobody was seriously injured. This is
Still.
quite a common occurrence. You can look it up. Elevators in China are a nightmare. They cut people
Wow.
in half. People fall down them. The doors malfunction. It's quite terrifying. If you want to actually start looking into it, you'll be scared. It'll probably put you off riding elevators for life. The thing is, this company in Xiamen shows you exactly why these problems happen, because they don't have to. You see, on paper, there are lots of laws in China and regulations in China which should theoretically ensure the maintenance and safety of elevators and many things in society.
Wouldn't you think that would be the main priority with that, with people, like especially with the population? They've got a lot of people. You know, you'd think it'd be priority to keep people's safety, wouldn't you? But
Yeah, but how
as
many
we know,
people
like,
are
there's
you going to fit in a lift?
Sorry.
How many people do you want to fit in a lift?
Well, I don't know.
Well, that was like a tin of sardines.
I mean, your average one here, like the lifts we get here, it's about 8, isn't it? I think it
Yeah.
says it takes 850
about 1,000
kilograms.
kilograms.
1,000, yeah, up to a ton. So yeah,
That was a lot
Yeah.
of people.
a metric ton, by the way, guys, not an imperial ton. Say again, babe.
That was a lot of people in that lift.
Oh, I know.
I wouldn't have got in it.
Madness, isn't it?
Claustrophobia, mate. Mm-mm.
Mental.
society. And one of the stipulations when it comes to maintaining elevators is that you have 2 technicians doing it at all times. So what did this company in Xiamen decide to do? Well, in order to cut costs, instead of having 2 maintenance workers, they would only get 1 maintenance worker to go out there, and he would carry a cardboard cutout of another man. I'm not even making this up. This is no joke. Here you can see the footage yourself. Because how it works is you have to upload to like a supervisory board, the maintenance being done. And what'll happen?
What if I told you that instead of setting up a green screen, you can just
Wow.
click a button into script and get the
Happen is you have to take photos to prove that there are 2 people here. So the one worker would put the cardboard cutout there, take a photo of the cardboard cutout, and then upload it to the sort of supervisory board. And it's like, there we go.
Hold on, I quickly missed that. What was he saying to do with that cardboard cutout?
Pretend that they've got a workman with them and another man.
Because there's meant to be 2, but they send 1 in a cardboard cutout.
Wow, man! Look at the things they do, man.
I wonder if they've
When he
got
said
different
cardboard cutout
people.
like that, it reminded me on an episode of Columbo once, where they got caught by the speed cameras, and he sussed it. And what they did with the person in the car, they sped intentionally so they'd be photographed. And he sussed it out because of the shadows and act differently on a flat surface than a 3D surface. And that's what kind of it reminded me on. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Columbo's cool. Peter Falk. I loved Columbo. I used to watch it as a kid. It was my dad that got me into it. Is he still alive, Peter Falk?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't
No.
know. Might be. Google it.
I will do, yeah.
Go, 2 people here doing the job. It's all okay. Pass, they get paid, and whatever else. Now, the problem is that somebody noticed.
Sorry, Ryan. Ryan?
The actor that played Columbo, yes, he passed away a few years ago.
Oh, did he? Okay, got you. How long ago, do you know?
2011.
There was a lot of people. It's weird, isn't it? There was a lot of celebrities died in 2009 and 2011, wasn't there? I think
Michael
that's
Jackson.
a lot of people. 2009, 2011.
That the expression on the face of one of these workers seemed a little stiff and a little unrealistic. And so started to do a little bit of digging into this whole thing and see what was going on. And it turns out that this company had been doing this for a very long time. In fact, they found at least 6 or 7 instances where they had done this. Of course, there's lots more than this, but this is what they found in their brief investigation. And it was pretty sophisticated. They even had different clothing for these cardboard cutouts, depending on the weather. So if it was a hot day, they had a short-sleeved version.
Hey, FE Nation, how you doing? Has anyone noticed that the moon is further north than normal? I haven't, to be honest. I haven't been observing it. It's something I think I should do, but it's kind of hard when where I live, you know, middle of the city, lights all over the place and that. It's, you know, and cloud all over the place. You don't get much viewings of the moon. It just depends, doesn't it, Michael?
I saw it last night, but I don't know
No.
whether it where it should be or not.
Yeah. Oh, evening, Roger Ledwell. It looks
I
like a
noticed
trap.
it was brighter.
Well,
noticed
yeah, I
that.
sometimes notice when it's brighter. Have you ever seen the dark kind of orangey browny kind of moon? And it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
it's
up
really
with that?
nice. I know, it's crazy. So I'm saying there's lots of optical effects and stuff like that. We like I said, we
Sure.
don't know. We don't know. I mean, who's to say that's not the same moon? Who's to say that's the same moon we see last night as we see today? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what it is, you know?
It's hard to see, especially when you're looking from ground up with such limited, what do they call it? Optical vision. I forgot what they call it. But
Yeah, I get you.
you only have so much distance, and then you have things blocking you, and it's just, man.
That's it.
You know what's interesting though is they have these towers, these airplane towers, these watch towers. I forgot what they call them, but they're not that tall. I mean, we have skyscrapers that just just shoot up to the sky, and these airplane towers, they're not that tall. I'd say like 3-4 stories. You don't need to go that high up there to see pretty far. It's really interesting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, angles. That's angles for you guys.
Also, if these things are coming from satellites from space, why do they need to put antennas on the highest buildings in cities?
I know. We still
If it was being beamed to every place on Earth, then you should be getting the signal no matter whether there's buildings there or not.
Like my phone gets a terrible signal in this flat, and there's a 5G mast outside. It's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? And all this
Yeah.
I thought there shouldn't be with satellites. There shouldn't be any kind of like at all. Well, it doesn't matter where you're at. Like there shouldn't be any kind of interference or it shouldn't be hard at all to get some kind of signal. Should not be signalless.
And if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure radio waves do pass through most items, most solid objects, don't they?
Well,
Are they radiated around them or something?
I'm not sure how it works. I'm not sure how all that works, but I'd imagine so. It's
But yeah,
northeast.
everything that we're getting from from the research I've done, everything that they do when it comes to communication, navigation is all done by either GPS or others, but GPS is trilateration, which is actually using towers. Now they do claim, when they explain it, they claim that it's beaming from the satellite down to the 3 towers. But if you just really think about it, all you need is the three towers to triangulate or trilaterate. So why would you need the satellite?
No, what's interesting is they wouldn't it be interesting if there was some kind of goggles or lens that you can put on and you can see every single radio wave, microwave that's out there, all the invisible waves?
That would be really.
It would just
Or
probably be.
you wouldn't be able to see nothing now. I mean,
Right? It would be
I don't think you'd be able to see anything with.
You'd become Monica Rambeau from the MCU. That's who you'd be.
No, you'd just be in a room filled with radio waves that are in the way, and you wouldn't be able to see anything but just the waves in front of your eyes. I guess. I don't know.
That's pretty wild. I guess it really would be like the Matrix, huh? A bunch of zeros and ones everywhere. You don't see anything. You just see waves.
Yeah, that's it.
But I mean, where you can actually see both. Like that would be interesting. Like ripples.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I'm not sure that we've got technology to do that, but I've heard about some things that seem like they would be able to be used for that. But if they're hiding that truth, then they may not ever show us that either.
Sure.
Got you. I had something
Kind of like,
better.
when you go to the doctor and they, instead of fixing you or the problem that you have, they just give you symptomatic things to make the symptoms go away. It doesn't make
Yeah,
sense. Like,
that's
wait a minute.
it. That's it.
But I want it fixed. I don't just want a pain pill. I want the problem fixed so it doesn't hurt no more.
That's right. That's right. It just covers the pain. It's the same way any kind of medication they give you some kind of side effect that they've got to give you some kind of thing to some kind of other medication to conquer, and it's just ongoing. It's like a big chain, and none of that's medical advice, by the way.
Yeah, of course not. But I'm just saying, I mean, you can use your own brain to understand things and decide whether
Exactly.
they're logical. Yeah, I mean, you got to make your own decision. Sure.
Of course. Right. Did you there, Vicky, or did you say you're going for a coffee, making a coffee? He's making a coffee.
But I do have a question for those that when you're watching TV and they're telling you, oh, you guys can't be doing this because it's bad for, but the problem is that the media, the one that's pointing the finger at us and saying that we're spreading misinformation, they're telling the same stories, only they're telling them differently. It's like
Yeah.
they tell lies all the time, every day, all day long. And we always find out later that they were not telling the whole truth, but yet we still have to argue with people about whether or not the TV is real and whether the stuff on there is actually happening. I don't really see why you can't see that.
It's like I mean, I don't watch news and stuff like that, you know. I mean, I never did. I never liked news as a kid. It was always, as I always even said as a kid, I challenged the news to give me nothing but good news for 24 hours, and I bet they couldn't do it, and they couldn't. So I've never really watched news, but you'd think something like the news would give you the blooming truth. I mean, you shouldn't have to decipher what is the truth and what is not. You know what I mean? We shouldn't, well, of course it's good to have discernment, but we shouldn't have to discern it. You know what I mean? It should just be the truth. If they're going out there portraying that they know the truth, then portray the truth. You know what I mean? Don't make up crap and use actors and shit like that. What's that all about?
Yeah, I think we've seen what happens to those that try to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They get blackballed, like that still exists. They
Yeah.
just blacklist you, and then basically you got the job.
That's it.
Speaking of the truth and the media, you have to ask yourself. Well, I've asked myself a question recently, and then today I heard someone else ask a different question, and both questions involve the media and Jesus. And you ask yourself. I asked myself this question, and I'd like people to ask themselves this question too. That and this is especially for those who are in the truth community, and more so who reject or deny the Mandela effect. And you don't have to accept the Mandela effect, but at least someone who denies the changes. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Okay. So with that in mind, why, if everything is fake, do they talk about Jesus in the media and the news? Wouldn't that make it fake too? Now, these are for the skeptics that deny everything. That's my question. Because I was one of them. I used to be one of these people who said, it's all fake, it's all fake, it's all fake.
Yeah.
But how can it all be fake if they talk about Jesus?
Of course, it's not all
You look
fake.
like that. Now not that. Who's going to take you serious if you walk around speaking like that? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's
So
quite evident which ones that are fake and which ones are not. You know what I mean? Well,
Right,
maybe
right.
not all the time, but in general, you seem to get a good fix on what's
Sure.
fake nowadays. You know, but with
Yeah, I
this
mean, without
stuff, that might change. You know.
absolutely.
Well,
I'm just saying, like, without using names, you know what I'm talking about. I came from a group where that's what we said. So now my other question is I heard this today.
Wait,
Jesus and
Sergio,
the
can I just comment on your first question first?
Yeah, we could. Let me do that. Let me not jump all over the place. Let's do one question at a time.
Yeah, I wouldn't admit I've lost my train of thought. There's always going to be truth and lies mixed together, because best way to deceive people is so that they can't discern what's true and what's not. And
how do they portray Jesus?
Regarding circles on YouTube where everything's fake, that's not helping anybody.
No,
it's not. And those conversations literally lead to no solutions. And that's just poison, man. And there's good people who are sucked into those conversations, and it just sucks.
A lot of fear surrounding them kind of channels as well.
Yes, and there's so much pride with no fear, but yet all it is doom and gloom. And what's the next doom?
Yeah, that's it.
We can't live like that if we claim to be filled with the Spirit of God. It's impossible.
True.
That's just my. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just saying hello to Supernatural Bible Changes, and they said they have to control both sides of the narratives. Yeah, I get that as well. But that would make sense as well. But yeah, there's all these questions surrounding it, and I'm afraid. I mean, for sure. I mean, we might know in our own mind, but for sure, we're never going to know. I don't think for sure. You know what I mean? There's so much deceit in the world. It's just like we might have a handle. We like say we've got discernment and stuff like that. We might have a handle on a lot of it, but we ain't got a handle on of it all. Do you know what I mean? So it is ultimately it's got to be the hard. It's the hardest thing to like know everything about it. You know what I mean? As long as we keep right with God and keep using Holy Spirit to guide us, you know, and try not to stray from that. All we can do is try our best, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
Right. So then, not everything could be fake.
No. I don't believe everything in the news is fake. No, but I don't like watching it. Even the stuff that's not fake is like, well, it's not that good news, is it?
Right.
That's why it's not called the good news. It's just called news.
That's interesting, and I guess I kind of lost my train of thought, but it brings me to the next point is, we can't.
You said the next thing you heard. You said that's what you were saying.
Right. I honestly forgot it though, but I remember something else is that we cannot gauge, at least in my opinion, where we're at in the Bible from the news. Talking about how it's not a good thing to watch, whether not everything is fake and yada yada. I think that too. We shouldn't get our biblical prophecy confirmation in the news.
No.
Or at least let me say it this way: don't look for it. Don't go looking for it there.
No.
Say, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Let's not do that. That doesn't help.
Sergio, knowing what like watching them things do to you, what is it doing to the people who are watching it constantly, looking for things? You know what I mean? They're still watching it. And what effect is that having on them? Really.
That's exactly it. That's what I say about the Mandela effect. You don't need to go looking for it. And if you're reading your Bible, it's going to come upon you without a doubt, because there's no to me, there's no doubt it's changing, and eventually it's got to be corrupted to the point of unrecognizability. Do you know what I mean? So get the meat while you can. But yeah, it's evident, it's happening without a doubt. You don't have to look for it. It's just there. People just think we're looking, especially with the Mandela effect, they're just scrutinizing the Bible for it. Not me, not at all. I'm just happening upon these things, I don't search for it at all. I mean, once I hear of one, sometimes I'll go look into it, but I don't go searching for them. Reading every single word, every single comma, every kind of grammatical thing to do with it. I don't go looking for it.
But doesn't it make sense now why people memorize the scriptures instead of writing them down or anything? They memorize them because they know that their memories cannot be changed. Right?
That's it.
So I mean, I used to always wonder, why would anybody memorize something if they could just write it down and then keep a copy of it? Why would they? And then I realized that, this last few months, I realized that maybe this has always been true. Maybe this stuff that they have today they've always had it. They've always had technology. And we're just imagining that this was in the past 2,000 years, and we're thinking that it's all, like ancient history, but it's not. It's valid. It's just like things happen today. Nothing's changed except the time, right?
Exactly.
And they've just gotten better and better at controlling us and lying to us and everything else. It's just, but how do you break free from it? I don't know. That's a good question. How do you get away from it? How do you live a life that's completely free of all that? I don't know. I don't know if it's possible.
No.
Live in the
Not at this
world.
point, anyway.
Of course not. It's you can't. I mean, you do get these holier than thou Christians that the relationship is just them and God. There's nobody else. That's it. It's just it's them, Jesus, and there's nobody else. There's no Christian fellowship between brother and sister and stuff like that. You know, it's just them and God, and it drives them crazy, doesn't it? Because it's just they won't put themselves into the world
Oh,
at all. You know what I
sorry.
mean?
I remembered my thought.
Go for it.
My second one, and you did definitely spark that. So thanks, PJ. You said the world, and
Yeah.
here's it is. It's Jesus and the media, and let's just say the government. You know, let's just say those with authority, obviously given to them by God, but nevertheless authority they have. Now, these controllers, let's say, or in positions of authority, wouldn't it benefit them that there would be a world full of humble Christians who would not want violence but yet love?
Mm.
Of course, would defend
No,
their
because they
truth.
feed on fear, bro.
But wait, okay, and then they feed them this lies. Oh, this prophecy is not true yet, or no, that's not true. Whatever they can try to psyop. But what I'm saying though is, wouldn't they want a society of, let's just say this, of graceful laydowns?
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I thought about that. I said, why are they? Because that's not how it is. Look at how much attack is against the name of Jesus and also his followers. Why?
Absolutely.
Why? And that's what I'm trying to understand. Like, honestly, like, why don't they want a world full of Christians? And then maybe there is a world full of believers, and maybe we are the majority, and maybe that's why they have to try to convince us otherwise when we look at these screens and isolate us. And I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I just thought about that today.
That's an interesting thought. No, Supernatural Bible Changes says it's that you're right, Sergio. Also, before that, it says the famine of the word of the word prophecy is in full effect. Absolutely, is that right?
But
Without doubt,
everything,
right?
everything about governments and everything is to do with control, whether it's money or power or whatever. It's all control, and it is, and that's why so many people believe what the government are saying, because it's control.
Yeah, of course, but
we're born equal
as well.
We're all born equal, right? But in society we're not, because some people are born into rich families and some poor.
Yeah, of course.
So,
absolutely.
And money is the root of all evil. I know
Love.
from
Hold on.
experience.
Can I just correct you again? The love of money is the root of all evil.
What? Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all. It's just because we need money, you know. Like it's the love of money.
As somebody who's seen both sides, people with money are not nice people, and they're not, because all it is about is the money, and that's my own experience.
Aye.
And it is control. If you've got money, you control things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the media and everything. So I think everything is done to control us and keep us in line. We're not meant to find the truth because they don't want us to.
Yeah, well, you can't serve two masters, can't you? You can't serve two masters.
No.
That's a great point. I think we really got to think about that. But going back to what you said, Vicky, is money. You know, the love of the money. And I've seen another side, because I grew up poor, and I've also been with. I've been in a previous relationship where the person was wealthy. Okay. And now I'm neither, you know, and I'm okay. I like that. I like being content. That's where I want to be. But what I'm saying though is, with being content, there's not a lot of people who are, and I've seen how they look at someone who is, and they want that.
Yeah.
Financially, and they'll say, you know, give me, let me borrow, and that's okay if someone needs it, but for me, I've seen a trend, and it might be, I don't know, but what I do see is like a hunger for it, and I don't like it. I do not like it, and I'm so thankful that God that He's never given me that hunger and that drive for the love of money. But whether if it's the controllers or the individuals, I've seen it, and it's just not. It's ugly. Let's say that.
Yeah,
it is ugly, really ugly.
That's something that's never bothered me, is money or fame or anything like that. As a kid, I might have once said like, "Oh, I'd love to be an actor," something like that. But the fame and money thing has never been something that drove me. mean, I'd love to have more money than I've got, but no, it's not a drive to be rich or anything like that. No, definitely not.
I think we all want to be comfortable, but
Right.
being comfortable and being rich are two different things, and they
Oh.
are two different worlds.
That's Kenneth Copeland, he'll tell you. I mean, he's
I
the most humble guy, isn't he? And rich at the same time because he needs
I didn't
it.
say that. Don't you dare say that I did.
yeah.
Don't you ever say I did.
Those demons, I can't be in the plane with those demons.
Yeah,
just cut
and
out.
demons in a metal tube. In a metal tube. It's just ridiculous, isn't it? I didn't say that. Don't you ever say I
But
did.
then
I'm
look,
seeing with aliens.
You did say that.
look at like what's going on in Hollywood now. All these celebs being called out and stuff for the things they've done wrong. We have people that look up to these people.
Yep.
And want to be like these people because they're rich and they're famous and they've got what on the outside to other people looks like everything.
Aye.
But it doesn't make you a good person. And these people aren't looking at people nowadays and looking up to people thinking, I want to be like them because they're nice. They don't. They want to be like them because they're rich.
Exactly. Not one of you good. No, not a one. I mean,
They want the possessions they have. I don't even think it's about the money. It's about the power and the, you know,
Of course.
the clout. It's about the clout, you know, like money is the only reason why we like money. The love of money is because money is what gets us that, right?
exactly.
But selfishness is the root of all evil. Selfishness is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware.
It's directly
You know?
linked.
If
directly
things
linked.
didn't cost, we wouldn't want the money, would we? You know?
It's directly linked to ego because the people I've seen who
Yes.
with money around me, they're like, look at me. Do you know what I mean? They walk in a fashion like I look cool. You know,
Aye.
they drive past you and speed up and show off as they're driving past in the flash car. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
look at me. It's always look at me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because their egos need stroking.
What inclines a person to want to be like a famous pop star, like, you know, so they don't tell you there's crowds of people all looking at them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, look at me again, you know.
Yeah.
Spotlight. Yeah.
It's
I
mad.
don't know if like you lot are well, PJ, you don't like politics, but in
Not
the
really.
UK we have a cost of living crisis, same as everywhere, right? But we also have a prime minister who is filthy rich, and I mean filthy rich. A nurse would have to work for 70,000 years to be as rich as the prime minister.
Wow.
Crazy.
And
Why did you vote? Why did you vote a rich guy in? Though? That's my question. Or did
we didn't? He swapped. But to be fair, all our politicians are rich. If you look at Keir Starmer, he's meant to be the normal bloke that's not filthy rich. He's got a knighthood. He's not poor.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm saying? So everybody in power, whether we like it or not, has money.
Well,
Because you need that money to get to that
True.
position.
You can't have someone running a country who comes from poverty, otherwise they'd overthrow how that country is. You know what I mean? They'd be like, I know what it's like to live on the street, so I'll put wages up for poor people and take money off rich people. Do you know what I mean? You can't be having that.
No.
yeah, that's why those people never
Someone
make
that was like, you know,
The rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Well, we could change that, but we need everybody to cooperate. That's all we need. We just shut down their companies, stop buying their products. Put the word out and don't buy their products anymore. They'll literally go broke overnight.
Yeah, I mean, it's already in what's in Revelation. I mean, it's not going to happen, is it? Nothing's going to sort itself out. It's just going to get worse. So.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure that it's supposed to, but I still try to keep that belief in my heart that it's possible we could stop the end of the world from coming if we could only convince the devil not to be doing it.
Yeah,
it's like
I believe it's going to get better. I honestly believe that. I know I'm like the majority usually, but I think it's going to get better.
There's nothing wrong with being positive, bro.
I think they're killing themselves off, you know, with abortion and straight, what do they call it? Whatever they call it, you know, same-sex marriages. I don't want to get your channel in trouble, bro, but you know what I'm saying. So,
That's cool.
And,
they're just trying to call things, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. You already.
Does it not? Does it not say when Antichrist comes, there'll be like world peace?
No, that's
No,
what
the
that's
yeah.
what he professes that there's going to happen, whether it happens or not. It's a unity, and it's a unity in a one world, like bringing the nations together in a one world religion.
That's,
When
I mean, if it's to get all world to follow him, then he must be
Mm.
doing good things. So then I would imagine world might get slightly better or seem
Well,
that way.
but it'll seem that
Mhm.
way. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it'll seem better, but
But
I don't think
I don't
it's going to
foresee
be
all
better.
good coming until Jesus comes back. Like,
That's it. That's it.
Mhm. And
Well,
remember,
what I've
Jesus
heard
said
is
he
that
didn't come to unite us; he came to separate us.
Yeah.
well, because he had to bring judgment, but he also brought righteousness. He came to baptize with the Holy Ghost, but also with fire, and he also came to resurrect, or that would be his second coming, right?
Well, yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
regarding the end times, I do see it. It was all they were telling, like, this is what's going to happen in the future. This is what they were saying. This is the prophecy, the revelation, and so on and so forth, and the warnings and the epistles and the keeping the faith and enduring and and staying true to Jesus, and Jesus is God, and all these, and don't fall into idolatry and all these things. There is unity in the message, and I and I see it. But what I don't see is it applying to current events. I see it for them telling, it's about to happen. It's about to, the time is near. The hour is right at hand. Things like that.
Yeah.
So I see it as it all came to pass.
the
That's how I see it.
the powers that be, whether they are or whatever how it works, must know prophecy.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to
Yeah.
push it
Push
as
that.
prophecy, like, but they just understand. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit cheeky.
Of course. However it plays out, it plays out.
Yeah,
because it's
I was
going
gonna say that.
however it plays out because it's been written that way. It's going to play out that way.
For me, though, it does help me live a different lifestyle. It does help me
Yeah, of course.
look at life differently, with light at the end of the tunnel, and much hope and joy, and not living in a state of fear and thinking that this is the next end of the world event. Because I'll just say that I'm really encouraged lately, and it's honestly another reason why, like today on the way home, I stopped at there was a sign. I went to go help my brother move some stuff. On the way home, there's these people at the sidewalk with a sign. It said "Stop for free breakfast," and I pulled over, and it was a church, and normally I wouldn't talk to these people because I know it's a Trinity church. They're Trinitarians.
Yeah.
But I've been talking to a Trinitarian in Messenger, Facebook, for over a year.
Yeah.
And listening to you guys talk, and listening to debates, and and not people who are prideful, and I can see that there's no difference, man, but the way it's explained is different, and there might be some lacking of understanding in this area or this area, whatever, but I can see the people who truly do love God and who are just after his truth and just want to be right with him and his people, and no matter what they call themselves, and
well, it's like
there's so much division when you don't believe that, dude.
This all stems, and I've been going to make a video about this, but it's this YouTube environment, It's like,
it's not just the YouTube, though. I was just say one more thing. One more thing, Michael, is I was gonna end with this, is that it's the dispensation doctrine, and which separates people, and God has one body and one message. It's like, how can it be so? It's just so wacky. Let me be respectful.
But like, I mean, I don't really associate with any real life Christians, only like you guys online and that, and then everything else is what you see on YouTube, and I see a lot of stuff like Catholics say this, it's not true, you know what I mean? But like, a Catholic believes in Trinity, Sergio. They also believe Jesus died and after 3 days rose again. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so they took that away with Trinity that they believe. Do you know what I mean? it's like, again, Satan mixes all truth and lies together, so nobody knows where they're at. Do you know what I mean? But just because Catholics say Trinity, don't mean it's not real. You know.
No, of course.
Who
And
cares?
it's,
Yeah.
I think the problem's not with Catholics. It's problems if it's just I'm not like I believe, but
Well, the problem I think is with the religion,
problem
right?
is with Catholicism, not with Catholics. It's with the doctrine, I suppose. You know what I mean? As long as it's not a salvation issue, then I don't think if not every person, not every division, every division, not every sect or whatever have got it right. They haven't got all they haven't got everything right about the gospel. But does that mean they don't love God and they ain't saved? No, it doesn't. You know?
And there's people who truly love God and don't have God right, meaning they don't understand who He is, or you know.
But they're trying.
That takes time, you know.
You believe He's triune, or like your banner says, Jesus is the living Word of God. I agree 100%. I'll die on that. Like I believe that, but I also believe, you know, that He is that one God alone. 100%. You know, like, do I see a distinction, Father and Son? Well, duh, I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. I know that, but I believe He's sending His prayer back to the throne of heaven. You know, I don't think He's talking to Himself. A double-minded mind is unstable in all his ways. The Scripture says.
Part of the triune God, right?
So you guys just explain Him as a triune, and I just say that, you know, these are.
Can I just put this out there to Sergio? Occam's razor, like, you know, I'm going to paraphrase it, like, but usually simplest thing is the correct thing, you know. Jesus is praying to His Father and speaking to His Father. Why not just believe that that's what He's actually doing?
Well, it's the same thing with the whole salvation plan. You know, like why have a plan of salvation? Why can't He just do this or that? You know, like why did He have to come and be born of a virgin? Why did it have to be His blood? Why does it have to be blood at all? Like things like that. You know, like this is just how the plan of God is.
Well, Michael,
everybody wonders that. But
Michael, do you remember when we was studying with 10th, and like we was trying to get grips with, like, how can it be predetermined and have free will? But I mean, in the way he explained it is, well, both true. You've got, it might not be free as such, do you know what I mean? But you've got a will, you know what I mean? You've got choices and all that you can make within that predeterminism, within that predeterminedness, you know what I mean? You've got in that being predetermined, still got that choices to make. You still got that part to play, whatever, and you make your choices and whatever in your own volition through that, you know?
Yeah, I think, and while we learn,
our choices would change the end result, right? But I don't think it would. I think the end result is the same for everybody, and it's the way that's supposed to be. Like, it's patterned that way, but we don't realize it because we have free will, and free will makes us think in a different context. And then of course we get confused because the devil comes in and says, "Well, that means that they're lying to you about this other stuff." You got to be careful with that kind of stuff because it doesn't necessarily deny it or say that it's not true. It does seem kind of odd, and it doesn't seem to fit together perfectly in your mind, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you should just cast it out and not believe in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you have to use logic and reason, and you have to kind of iron it out and look at other things in the Bible and get context so you can understand what it really means to you. Because I think everything is about you when it comes to your relationship with God. It is about you. So I think, you know what I mean?
I see the will of God and the will of man side by side. I see God as the author. That's why things happen the way they are, because He said it would. I heard something today. Check this out, gentlemen. You know, something I've never heard. It's the person is reading a book, listening to it, and the guy says, God doesn't exist in the future. He says there is no future. He says that's impossible. Or I forgot how he explained it. Okay, and I was in short, and I said, "Oh, what?" And I listened again, and he continues on. Exist. And that was a good point. And he continues on. You know, he says the reason why my mic died. The reason why the scriptures talk about the future is because God wrote it, and He said something. He exists obviously in the past, that's history, but He always exists with the now, what's going on now. But the reason why things happen is because He's almighty, and He said they would. So whether someone believes in free will or not, God is still all sovereign. You know, and there's a lot of truth here.
I mean, the main issue I think what people stumble on is they try to think with this created fleshly mind. You know, God don't exist in this creation. is outside it, is outside of time. That's why he
He's
can
the
see.
force that divides
can
your
see-
cells. You know, think
he
about it
can
that
see-
way. He's more powerful.
Yeah, he can see past, middle, and future all at the same time. You know, he knew when he were creating Adam that Adam were going to fall. You know,
Right? That's right.
That's very true.
but
We have to-
And
we
if you
try
think
and
that your
think,
life is a
"Oh,
straight line, then think
Yeah.
again,
And
because everything is in a circle in this world. Everything's circular, including the shape of the earth is, I don't know, it might be a disc, so it could be circular, right? Everything that goes around the top above the earth goes in a circular fashion. Think about that. There's symmetry and there's circular stuff involved in everything that happens in this place, and you can't escape that. Even your cells dividing is the same thing. It's being, and nobody knows what that force is. There's a magnetic force that literally pulls your cells apart and divides them from one into two perfect equal parts that are exactly the same. What causes that? Nobody knows. It's God. That's what God is. He's the energy and the force that actually makes your cells divide. He makes it possible for you to exist. So if he forgot about you, you'd be dead. Think about it.
Yeah. I agree with the last sentence. Yeah. If it's not up to him sustaining us and keeping us going, yeah, there is no life anymore.
So for me, it's easy to believe that he does know the future. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, Michael says about the natural mind as well, and that's what I'm saying. They think that's not fair, right? He knew the beginning from end. He knew Adam was going to sin, so therefore he had no choice. That's not fair. That's not fair. It's predetermined. It's not fair. You're thinking with a natural mind. You're not thinking with a holy, good, supernatural, godly mind. You haven't got it. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. It's missing.
The scriptures say we have the mind of Christ once we're filled with the Holy Ghost.
That's a metaphor.
I don't believe it. I really believe we do have the mind of Christ, and I believe.
Well,
God
yeah,
really
I
does.
do, but I believe it in a metaphorical statement. I don't mean that it physically means that you know what I mean. I don't mean that, like if I say I believe in demons, that doesn't mean that I believe that if somebody dies, that they're going to come back and knock on my head and say, "Hey, I'm alive still. I'm not dead," because that doesn't happen, right? But we know that there are things that are evil. We know that there are things that move around in this world that scare people and show themselves to people, and those do exist. But dead people coming back from the dead, it doesn't exist, except for Jesus, as far as I know, right?
Well, I have a question.
So I mean, there's a distinction between what a ghost and, like, you know what I'm saying? There's truth in there, and then there's a bunch of stuff that people make up because they're trying to make their carnal mind accept it, right? Think about that.
My question would be about this: what you said, zombies. Let's just say, a biblical term would be resurrection. This is to everybody here. What do you guys believe about the resurrection? Because my understanding is that those that were in the grave would raise up, and those that were still walking the earth when this happened would be
will come afterwards.
It also says they have new bodies, so I don't think that means your body itself will climb out of the grave.
I believe that.
Like
well, let's say you're finished.
Yeah, I was just saying they would either ascend up, in their translated body, but nonetheless a body that someone can actually see with their eyes. An audience would be able to witness this miraculous event going on, known as the catching away. The resurrection, as the scripture says, the day of the resurrection. So do you guys look
a glorified body?
That's the context.
Yes, I believe that. Yes, I do believe that, but I don't believe it's people's bodies coming up out of the grave.
So
I believe it. I believe what it says.
Okay.
Yeah, let Michael go first because Michael's got to say something.
Go ahead, Michael.
I was just going to say a resurrected body, flesh with no blood.
Yeah.
We know that because, when they were touching Jesus, they're putting the fingers in his wounds and that, and there were no blood. So, the new body, resurrected body, whatever you want to call it, is flesh, bone, and blood. How it's all work with dead, I'm not sure, because there's rotted dead, there's all different kinds of level buried, isn't there? There's bones, there's freshly buried where bodies are still rotting. I would imagine, there's people that's been lost at sea that are classed as buried and stuff like that, been torn up by sharks, dashed on rocks, whatever's happened. So I don't really know how it's going to work. I won't like to have a guess, but I just do know that, like PJ said, it says dead will rise first, and then, like you said, Sergio, will be caught up in a twinkling of an eye and all that business.
Exactly.
I won't like to have a stab on how it works, or if we'll even know. You know, it might be that if you're dead, you might just fall asleep and then you wake up and
you wake up and they're there.
Jesus, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't even feel like you've been asleep for more than a couple of minutes. Anybody, if it is us who are still there at end, we're caught up. It says in a twinkling light, so it's like quicker than even blinking. So it'll just happen. And
I totally believe it. Because the Bible says it. Says that like Michael just said, that the dead in Christ will rise first, and then them in Christ using the earth will just be caught up. The dynamics of it, I haven't got a clue. How it works, I don't know. I haven't got a clue. But and if you can see that body, or if you can't see the body, I'm not sure. But I just know we've got some kind of body, and it's got to be a better body than we've got now. That's for sure. And I just believe what it says. But how it happens, like it says, I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because the thing about it is Jesus is called the firstborn, right, of the resurrection, the firstborn of the first fruits of our creation, meaning the first believer who's been resurrected.
Yeah.
And it said before him, they slept. What was it? They slept with the fathers, okay? And Abraham's bosom, they would call it. But afterwards, they also slept in Christ, Paul said, right? So only Jesus was the one who was able to ascend into heaven. He even said when he was on earth that David wasn't in heaven yet. And I was like, oh, wow, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes sense, because the prophet Samuel was, when he was raised up, he's like, what in the world? What are you doing, Saul? I was asleep with the Father. What are you? So he got all bent out of shape because he was raised up, and rightly so. So anyways, if Jesus is the firstborn, and he is, the scripture says he is, I believe that. And you have to ask yourself, well, I asked myself, I said, Lazarus was raised up bodily, just like Jesus. Okay. First. So then the way Lazarus was raised up cannot be likened unto Jesus. Now, is it because he didn't have the Holy Ghost, or meaning he wasn't a believer filled and dwelled, or is it because it wasn't an actual flesh?
Sin hadn't been conquered yet, had it?
Yeah. Meaning, would it be mortal, or would it be spiritual resurrection?
Yeah, it is a hard one.
I think not. See, I don't think he was resurrected with a resurrection body, as I called it earlier. But he was brought back by Jesus because Jesus loved him, but also to show people that he could bring people back from dead.
Even his sister said, because when she was dead, she's like Jesus, why did you take so long? And he says, Mary, he'll be raised. She's like, no, Lord, I know, on the last day, meaning the resurrection. And he's like, no, like hold on, give me a sec. And he raised him, right? And Lord, forgive me for just making it so layman, but I'm just speaking in simple language. But what I'm saying is that this conversation took place with him and his family. Even Peter asked, he said, Lord, is he gonna, last until Judgment Day, when Jesus, before he ascended? And so it just makes me think, what?
Well, when you read,
I believe it happened, and like, what was the resurrection like? And I know you guys don't believe it happened yet. So what will it be like?
When you read that story about Lazarus as well, Jesus actually leaves it for as long as possible, so he's been dead for days.
Yeah. He dead.
Yeah, he does.
That was really interesting, because even his wife, his sister was like, Lord, he stinks by this time. He's rotting.
He stinketh. The King James version says he stinketh.
Stinketh, yeah. I love that word. Stinketh.
I say, you should see picture it in my Bible. It looks like something out of Walking Dead. It looks like a zombie, man.
I gotta see that. That's funny.
Good. Was it Supernatural Bible Changes?
Jesus
solid, but had supernatural qualities. Yeah, he was. He definitely had flesh when he was taken. Absolutely.
Well, here's part 2 to the question then. So then, what about believers today, not being resurrected but still dying? Where do they go?
They go. They
That's
go. I know where they go. It says in the Bible that they go to paradise.
Well, each
There's a
answer.
place that you don't know that you're dead. And the people that go to hell immediately, and they wait there until the judgment. But or wherever there's a place. That's why I think that's why Jesus says in the beginning, he says, "I go to prepare a place for you." And then he went to hell for 3 days. So why would he say that if you weren't going to go to hell, or you weren't going to be kept in some place near hell until the end? Think about that.
You get taken also, and taken in the end. It says the sleep in Christ will go first. So why would there be a sleep in Christ?
Meaning the people in paradise will come out first. They'll rise. They'll come back to the earth and have a physical body. Right. They'll come from the sleep of being in paradise, of being dead. Right. Think about it.
It's just described as being asleep, though, isn't it? Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because your spirit never dies, dude. I mean, we all know that, right?
You've got going to paradise from like.
It's called paradise. Read it. It's in hold on, I'll think of it. What's the name of that guy that argued with God? He has a whole book about it.
Oh, Jacob. Were you on about Jacob? Wrestled with God?
No, not Jacob. Not Jacob. The other guy, the one that argued with God constantly. Like, I can't think. Hold on, let me look at my Bible. I can't remember the verse either, but I know it's in there. Job. I'm thinking of Job. In Job, talks about. In Job, I think it talks about, or anyway, somewhere in the Bible it says there's a story. I guess I don't know whether it's Jesus talking about it, but he says that there was a rich man and a poor man, and the rich man had lots of food and lots of everything, and the poor man sat on his stoop every night and begged him for food. And he says, just give me the scraps off the table. I don't even want the good food. Just give me whatever you don't eat, right? And he basically beat the guy and chased him off every night. So then in the story line it says, and then later on when they were both dead, the beggar was in paradise, right? A place called paradise, and the other man, the rich man, he went to hell, and he looked up and he could see the poor man in the sky, and he could see him drinking a ice water or something, and he was screaming out in his heart saying, "Give me a drink of that water. Just let me have the drops that come from the cup when you're done." And the beggar couldn't even hear him. You know what I'm saying? And he screamed, and that's. I mean, it specifically says it, man. Think about it. I think that's where you go. I think that's what Jesus did. He went down there and prepared a place to put all of us that believe, so we didn't have to go to hell at all. So we get trapped. So basically, when you die, you'll just wake up like it never happened.
So
you can be dead right now and not know it. Yes.
Where did
you can be dead right now?
Where did everybody go died in Christ pre-Jesus going down to hell?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's where your issue comes in.
It doesn't. But just because I can't explain that doesn't mean that I'm wrong, right? I mean,
on the cross,
I want to understand it too, but
on the cross, he did say, "Robber, this day you'll be with me in paradise." But that's you don't know about time when you die. He did say that to the robber that day. He did say when he got saved on the cross. So I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't got the answers. It's interesting what you're saying, Ryan, definitely, and it's worth looking into, without a doubt. But I don't know the answer.
If you read Enoch, there's like three rooms for dead.
Yeah, there's that as well.
I don't know how that ties in.
Maybe Enoch. Enoch lived before Jesus, didn't he?
Right, so we're trying to think with. It's hard because we're trying to think with minds that have got time as a concept. And
Absolutely.
Stuff like
well, yeah, hard. I realize that I can be wrong too. I'm not saying.
Of course.
I'm just trying to say I think I understand it a little bit better based on those scriptures. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we could find them and look them up and read them and figure it out. Because I want to know the truth of it too, regardless of whether I'm right or wrong. Honestly.
Well,
so, yeah, that's always true.
When Jesus was departing, he says, "I go to my Father. I go to prepare a place for you." So that couldn't be down. It was.
Well, maybe it's not down. Maybe it's not down. Yeah.
Sure. And I remember that.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah. No. I just that's good because I remember also that he says he goes to his Father to prepare a place for them, and then the eternal Spirit. I think you said we have eternal Spirit. that would be the gift of eternal life, right? Is that what you're referring to, or do you mean like just like the soul itself is eternal?
Well, I mean, I think your soul is eternal because God created you that way. But that doesn't mean that if God separated himself from you, that you wouldn't be just in empty space and time forever. I mean, like you could be in complete darkness with nothing, and that would be worse, right? To live eternally in darkness with no sound, no light, no nothing that you recognize would be there. All you'd have is your own mind and your own thoughts. You'd go crazy. Like that would be the worst thing in the world. I'd rather be where God could, because God can create more things. He can turn me into whatever he wants to, right? Like that's a cool thing. How can you not think that's neat? You know what I'm saying? Like I get excited when I think about this. It's like, wow, like this is crazy. I was created by this awesome genius that understands things that breaks me down into little pieces. You know what I mean? With his mind, and that's fascinating to me. I can't wait to meet this thing. Can't wait to meet God. I mean, or be closer to him. It's awesome. Like.
Absolutely.
I hear people saying, "Oh, I'm scared," and everybody's worried. And it's like, why are you guys so worried and everything? You're forgiven. All you have to do is believe on Christ. Believe that. Know that you're forgiven and ask for forgiveness and try to change your life. I mean, yeah, we're all making mistakes, but we're trying. But that's why Jesus came to die. That's why he had to bleed and die. He had to do what we do. Like that's what you do when you live your life, right? You bleed, you sweat. You cry. You go through all these emotions. That's what they're talking about. You know what I mean? It makes sense to me.
I was looking up something. I'm sorry.
Go on, Sergio. I said somebody about to say something.
I asked if I could say something, and
go on then.
So you know what Ryan was saying about people scared of dying.
Yeah,
and
I'm still scared of dying.
So
even though I'm not, I know where I'm going. I'm still scared of the act of dying.
I know Catholicism, the doctrines are messed up and all that, and I get that, right? But my nan was a Catholic, and she was scared of dying all her life, her whole life, scared of dying. My nan got put in hospital, and we found out she had cancer and other things. And this woman who was 80-something that had gone to church all the time, lived like a good little Catholic girl, and when she was dying, when she knew she was dying, she said to me, "I'm not scared anymore." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "I'm not scared anymore." And to me, something happened to make this woman, who for 84 years of her life had been scared of dying,
well,
make her go, "I'm okay, I'm not scared."
Yeah, well, she could have had an experience with Christ then and there. Do you know what I mean?
Since none of us have been in that position.
Exactly.
My grandmother saw Jesus standing next to me, and it freaked me out.
And there's not many people died and come back to life to tell you what's happened. Really, how do we know that when it comes to that moment in time, Christ isn't there? We are comforting you.
Exactly.
That's what I believe what happens. I thought about that before, Vicky. My wife, she works with the dying, and I said most of them, they're very, I can say very, but most of them, the ones who are okay, they have a peace about them. And I thought about that. I said to the person who's filled with health, who's not in hospice, that's as much as I can say, a person filled with health, they're terrified of that hour. Let alone facing, a coming season of death. When you're at the gates of death, you think you would have like the most anxiety and whatever. But these people, and many of us have known them personally, whoever they are on their deathbed, they are okay. They're fine.
Yeah,
I truly believe God touches them with a peace.
That's true.
They are at peace with dying. They're not scared.
Because I'm not. I'm so scared.
So right, yeah.
I'm so scared. Right now,
I'm
petrified. Talking about even petrifies me.
Okay, so if they're not scared at the very moment of death, why would you be scared of it? That's what I was asking.
I'm not afraid of it. I just don't.
That was my point, though. How do we know that when we come to that moment in time, are we going to be happy with it? We don't know because we haven't been there yet.
No,
that's it.
And if
we don't know, but we only have what we have.
If an accident happens, you die quickly, then that's happened quickly. But if we live till we're old and then we come into that position where it's time for us to pass on, we might be good with it. You know, we don't know because we haven't been there.
I mean, I
It
have
could also
physically died through taking drugs. You know, like obviously I didn't mean to. You know what I mean? It was an overdose sort of thing. And no, I didn't know I was dying, so obviously I wasn't scared or anything like that. But I didn't know nothing. I just knew coming back round. That's it. That's all you know. That's all I knew is taking it and coming back round. So yeah, that obviously wasn't my time, because if it was my time, then I would have known something. I believe. I believe it. I don't know what happens, but I believe it was just like Ryan says, wake up in them or somewhere else. Whether it happens in the instant of dying or we're there for time, through time, a duration or whatever, but we don't know it, and it's just like waking up. I don't know. Don't know how it works, but it's interesting to talk about it. You know?
Well, back to the Lazarus. My comment would be, is I'm not sure if that's an actual story. Some say it's real story. Some say it's a parable. I don't know, but from what I've come to understand is that God is love, and I don't see a person dying forever.
Can I just ask you a question? If it's parable, why is Jesus crying about it?
No. The one that Ryan brought up, the rich man and Lazarus.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no, that's the one that Jesus wept over. That was not a parable at all.
Definitely.
That was a man that was so close to him that he was called the disciple that Jesus loved. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
People think it's disciple John. It's not John. It's Lazarus is the one that he loved. That he said, because it says this. It says, and during supper.
Did they kill Lazarus after?
The one whom he actually lived to the resurrection is what they're saying. It was no one's concern. They said, Jesus said. Peter asked the same question. He's like, is he going to live? But anyway, back to what I'm saying, so I don't lose my train of thought. Back to Lazarus and the rich man. I don't know if it's parable or true story, but over a study of is hell real and is the soul eternal, I'd say hell is death. The second death, that is death. It says a lake of fire is the second death. I think it's just the way they explain it, so that you get the finite, the finite of it, the finitality, whatever they call it, finality of it. And that's what I think it is. And learning that, how God being love, and hell is not eternal, but it is still a scary thing to face death, to face, the living God. It says it's a fearful thing to fall into His hands, as an enemy. But what I'm saying, though, is I don't believe that the soul is eternal. I believe in order for it to be eternal, you'd have to have a gift, and in order for it to live forever, it would contradict it living forever in a sense of being tormented forever, because then that is living forever. That's not dying forever, So anyway,
I am at the door. All you have to do is open the door. Let me in.
I don't think He sends people to hell forever. I think they're judged, and I think those who are saved, I think what it is, just go to heaven.
We were on about this, PJ. I can't remember when, but somebody brought it up that death and hell get thrown into the lake of fire.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
That would mean that whatever hell is, it's in tandem with death.
Right, and death is not tangible. You can't throw death into into a lake of fire and burn it. What it means is that it's annihilated.
But wouldn't you be embarrassed if you die and then you fly to the center of the earth and you fly down through that lake of fire, in through the portal and go into the black sun, and that's where hell is? Are you going to be like going, oh shit, what was I thinking? Or are you going to say, oh man? You're going to be like, oh.
Then to the abyss as well,
One thing I do know is that I'm not going through a molten core of Earth. I know that for a fact.
You'd be going through a portal that takes you to the other side. Think about it. Yeah. It says, as above, so below. Think about it, guys. Come on.
No, I just believe what Jesus says. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. Like,
I think it's funny, but what it is like, if you guys really look at this stuff, it's starting to make sense to me. I think the Masons really do know the truth, but they put it in the code and they write it and they paint it on a wall, or they paint it in a picture, or they make symbols out of it and they spread it around that way, because they only want the people that they want to share it with that have it, right? That's basically all they're doing. So when I think about that, I think, you know what, maybe there's a reason why they did that. and maybe it got destroyed. Maybe people took over it and made it into something worse, or maybe the original idea was good and it just got twisted. But I have a hard time believing that them showing these symbols all the time, they're always showing the same symbols that we already know the answers to. And they show a picture with if you look at that compass and that level, if you look at that and you think about it, it actually is representing the same things that we're talking about right now.
I
Those
mean, it
pictures.
might, but
The black hole sun below, shooting the beam up above through the hole in the center of the Earth, and causing the sun to focus into one spot and rotate around us, as well as the moon and all this stuff.
No, I don't take from square and compass out there. To me, square and compass is creation, like four corners, so it's a square construct. Compass, circle, it drew a circle in the face of the deep. You know what I mean? I think that's what they represent. I don't know about this black sun business. Like,
but where are you right now? You're in an air bubble, right? Underneath the ocean. That's where you are right now.
Well, we can't. It doesn't say that in the scripture. This is what
it tells you in the Bible that he separated two bodies of water and made a firmament. So what does that mean? How does that not make sense to you guys? Come on, think about it.
Well, it doesn't say that, but I do. In all
Wait a
respect,
minute. Let's read it.
I know. But with all respect,
it would assume like a bubble type thing, but
I've seen that before.
But if it separates the waters from waters, Ryan, if in that bubble type situation, the waters would still be with the waters. It just means there's a bubble in the middle of the waters. It says it separates them.
Yes, exactly. God makes a firmament amidst two bodies of water, or in between water, above and below, right? That's why they say that. That's why the Masons are always saying, as above, so below. They're right.
Yeah,
it's not something evil. That's actually true. So why do we always take those symbols and all that and get mad about it? I don't understand.
No, it's not really mad. I think it's a really.
I won't buy too much into that Masonic crap if I were you, Ryan, mate.
I'm not. But I'm saying when I hear it every day, everybody's always talking about it, and people are always showing it on TikTok and all that, and it's starting to make me realize that, of course, they're doing this. It makes sense. It makes sense that they figured it out, and they're in a special club that's trying to avoid it all. Maybe they're just like us, but they get taken in by these whoever it is at the top, they or whatever they are, or who they are, the devil or whatever his cohorts. They're the ones that actually take us all and manipulate us and make us think that each other are the bad person when it's really the devil that's doing it. He's the one, you know what I'm saying? He's the one tripping us all up when we're in good positions. It says that at the end that there'll be evil in high places. Think about that. To me, it makes perfect sense. I'm sorry, Al.
No, that's good. No, I'm enjoying all of this.
The waters above as below. Yeah.
All I wanted to say is that with a lot of maybes and, they might be doing this, the scriptures do say, we ought to think on things that are true. And then another point is that, they say a lot of signs and symbols, and sure, yeah, maybe. But at the same time, like they say 33, like Jesus was 33. I mean, I was 33 a few years ago. I have a 33 waist. Like I used to live on 33th Street. Like none of, you know what I mean? Like my name title is 33. Not my name title, but my last name does. And it's just like, what is that?
Michael Kahn's name's 33.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. But like, what I'm saying though is they can really make us think about
it. I'm a British Mason on planet.
I've seen them do it. Like they make you think a lot of what ifs and maybes. I'm in the shower, Ryan, taking a shower, dude, and I'm looking at the signs and symbols on the shampoo bottle. I'm like, Sergio, stop.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, we know that there's wicked men. There's wicked men.
I have been there looking at barcodes and stuff like that. Yeah.
But I hear you, man. I hear you. It's everywhere.
Definitely. Anybody else? No? I was going quiet all of a sudden.
I mean, I was typing in the chat because I didn't want to interrupt him, but I didn't want to lose my train of thought.
Yeah,
okay, so the first things that are created, it says in the beginning of creation, okay? This is Genesis 1, I'm reading, I'm not paraphrasing. And the earth, it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, okay, blah, blah. Okay, so we get down to verse 3, it says, and God said, let there be light. So the first thing we had was waters, he moved around the waters, right? So that's the first thing that he created, right? Or we assume it, right? Okay, then we have light. So we have light and we have water, okay? So when you start out with light and water, how do you get all those crazy things that all the people in the world say that they see in the sky. Where do you get any of that? It's not. It's in the water, and it's light, right? Light and water, and God, right? That's what you have. Then he says he created the day, and he divided the light from the darkness. Then he created day. So in other words, by dividing the light and the darkness from each other and making days, that's how he created the day. It's real simple to understand, right? Okay. So then we get to the next part. It says, and then he saw it was good, and he divided the light from the darkness. Okay, and then he called the light day and the darkness night. That's how he created the day and the nights, right? So there you go. That's the first three things created in the beginning of the time. And God said, "Let there be a firmament." That's the fourth thing, right? There's still no planets. There's still no sun. There's still no moon. There's still no stars. There's still nothing, right? Think about that.
Maybe.
You hear where I'm coming from? Okay. And then it says he made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters that were below the firmament. In other words, he created an expanse, a gas pocket that's covered, right? And then he made the earth come up from below and rise out of that surface. So we're literally a dome-shaped thing or whatever, so that the firmament is made of. Crystalline form is what it talks about in here, right? That's where you live. How is that? I don't understand how that's so difficult to understand.
I get exactly what you're
If
saying.
that's true, then that means the sun is inside and it's not a planet. It's not a ball of gas. It's literally a light that's coming from somewhere. Where would it be coming from? Right?
Yeah,
Right. You're on about like a spirit level bubble, aren't you? We're in a
I
spirit
know. I'm
level.
sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Nobody's really contesting it, are we? I mean, how many
No,
times
nobody's
we showed
contesting it.
biblical cosmology diagram, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's
No, but I'm saying if you think about how that fits in with what I was saying, I think it matches.
the problem is, Ryan, where's it said there's a black sun and all that in creation and that? You know what I mean? Where's all that talked
Yeah,
about?
I was getting to that, but actually, I haven't actually looked at that. But somebody was talking about it the other day, and I can't remember where they said they saw something that suggested, and I was like, wait a minute, what? So I might be wrong. Like I said, I could be wrong, but it seems to fit together in my head. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean,
you're on about like a spirit level type bubble thing, aren't you? That type of thing, like spirit level bubble, a spirit level. You call it a level, yeah, that kind of.
Well,
thing.
we know that the surface is a plane, right? So we know it's out there, and then we know that it's covered, it's protected, right, from the waters above, right? Makes sense.
I get the logic of it, definitely. I definitely get the logic
So
of it.
we are in a realm. We're not necessarily on a planet. We're not none of that.
I get the logic of it and understand it, but I mean, the Hebrew biblical cosmology doesn't use that as that kind of thing as a diagram. You know what I mean? But I understand the logic of it. I haven't looked into that too much. Definitely not. But I understand what you're saying, Ryan. I do.
But we had days and nights before we had the sun, right? Before we had that light in the sky. See what I'm saying? So to me, that's telling you that if we're in a container, right? Which we understand that even with science, we understand it's a container. Then if you really am this lawnmower dude. So if you're in a container, how else can you get the sun from somewhere else? If you're in total darkness, and God creates light in this little place where he created the firmament, then you have a bright thing here, right? So if you think about it, the sun isn't somewhere else. It's right here with us. It has to be inside this realm with us, right? So then where else would it be? Then it must be some kind of reflection. And it makes sense to me that when they show, like, when I look at, I don't know, it's just making sense to me. Maybe I'm just getting tricked.
Let me stop you, Ryan. You said it must be a reflection. How do you know that? It can't be. You don't know what it is, so you can't make.
Well, the eclipse is what's telling me that, and the fact that the moon disappears, and so does the sun.
I hear what you're saying and stuff, like, but I'm just not inclined to be making any kind of claims on something I don't know what it is.
No, I wouldn't claim it. I mean, because I don't know for sure.
I see all this stuff getting pushed around TikToks, YouTube.
I know.
Don't make it true, though.
I know. I understand where you're coming from. I do.
The thing that worries me, from what I've seen over the years, is the more things are pushed, the more less truthful they usually are.
I used to be married to the idea, and then I thought about maybe there's a Earth ring.
I've even got that video with that supposed Mason telling you all that tale about Black Sun and that on my channel, like, but do I believe it? I'm not sure. Should I have put it on my channel in the first place? Well, I were a bit more wet under the ears when I put it up, but I probably won't put it up now. It's still there.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I'm starting to believe in it, and I'll tell you, I'll just give you a hint of why, my mind's going there. I think I'm just guessing because I can't really understand how my mind works exactly. But I think it's because when you look at some of the stuff some of the evidence that I've found lately and read through it, and you start to understand how that is possible, how those fields work together, you start to realize that there is a magnetic field, and this has to be true, right? So if the light isn't coming from outside above us, because we know darkness is anywhere beyond outside of the place where we're at, right? Because he created the light in the firmament, so we know that there are no lights beyond it, right? So we have to often wonder then where in the heck is the sun emanating from? And the only logical explanation is it's coming from below us, because that's where the part of the field goes, and we don't see any of that. It's the opposite. It's the upside down, and they talk about this all the time in movies and all that. They talk about the upside down. They talk about the other plane. They talk about all this stuff constantly. Why do you think they do that?
To pillock everybody.
Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's actually God trying to talk to you. I don't know, but how can we know until we investigate it and figure it out, right?
I really don't think God would be talking to us through Masons, man.
You want to hear something wild? I heard someone recently.
But how do you even know Masons have anything to do with what's going on in the background? We don't know that. They could be just a lie and it pushed on us too, right?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Someone said,
When we get to this point, anything's possible, right? If things are changing in our physical world, then anything's possible. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why it's so hard for you. You know what I mean?
I don't know if you're not hearing me, but I'm not saying that Black Sun's not real. I don't know, but I'm not inclined to go around pushing it as being a truth, Ryan, because I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you.
But for as much as you were saying, light's coming from underneath, it could be coming from above.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So
but like I said, when I put all the things together I don't know. It's just I feel led to it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I guess I won't know until I get to the end of it, right? You know,
that's it.
I mean?
Can I ask a question?
Go on, then.
Ryan, do you trust politicians? Do you? No, it's not.
I'm not going to answer that question. I'm not going to answer that question because I think you already know the answer to that. No, not necessarily. Now, if I knew somebody personally that became a politician, I might trust them. But
not what I asked.
No, not really. I believe that politicians are probably mostly fake. I don't know.
Hold on. But you're saying about Masons, right? You don't trust politicians, but Masons, you're believing certain things. But if am I right or wrong by saying that Masons are people like government, royalty, stuff like that?
Yeah, of course. There's Masons
Well, yes, but how do we know that it's the Masons that are the ones actually creating that thing, and it's not just them being recruited from the Masons because they're such an uppity thing and they already believe in God and they have all this belief. So once they take them down and then they can twist it around, they can make the whole world be tricked by it. Doesn't that make more sense to you?
No, because they're rich people in power. I wouldn't get my information from people in power with money, purely because they're not trustworthy. I think if you're going to look at it, if you're going to look at it, well, maybe the Masons are right. I honestly don't believe that they are, because why is it so secretive? Why, if they know the truth, why is it kept to them? Wouldn't you want everybody knowing it?
Yeah, it wouldn't be esoteric, would it?
Well, the veil's being dropped. Well, it says, I think that we're in the end times, and I think the veil's lifting, and all this stuff is starting to become known. That all these tricks that they've been used against us are becoming a reality.
Well, let me put this to you, right? All those guys here are all in agreement that the most important thing is to know Jesus and believe in him. And believe that he died for us. Yeah, that's the most important thing. Yeah. Well, there's all these rabbit holes, Black Suns, all this, that, and other, and there's a hell of a lot of people all into that, and they're not even anywhere close to coming to Christ.
Well, they're ever learning, you know, and they
but
never.
I don't know. My experience is this: I've been in their church. I've been into a Mason church. They took me in there and showed it to me, and I asked them all kinds of questions. I asked them about flat Earth and everything. And I'm telling you, I don't think they believe in anything that's satanic, bro. They have a Bible that has all the books in it, including Enoch. It's right in the middle of the room, and they read from it every day. Like, I'm not stupid. I know they're not lying to me about that. Why? What do you think they put that there just to confuse people? I mean,
Well,
come on.
those low
They've got
level
Bible
lodges.
verses on the walls. They've got paintings of things that have happened in history that do exist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
So
weird.
if
It's like,
if
why
that's
is
the
it that
case,
makes so much sense, but everybody keeps saying, oh, the Masons are the ones doing all this? It doesn't
no,
make
but
any
if that's
sense
the
to me.
case that they're right and they know the truth and all this, right? Why are they
Hmm.
not trying to save more people? Answer
Maybe they
me
know
that.
something we don't.
No, but if as a human you're meant to love other humans, right?
Yes,
If
but
you were in an
if God sends a
organisation that
message to
knew
their
the truth,
brain, you
why
know what I
would
mean?
you not take people and help save them? Because you would.
Because God's
But
already
they
sent the
don't do
message
that.
to their mind, and they refuse to. Look around. Haven't you noticed it? There's people that literally deny
Yeah.
reality. They'll deny up and down. They'll deny
I
black and
think the
white
most
just to
concern,
keep from admitting that the earth's flat.
the highest concern
It's
they have
ridiculous.
is to stay wealthy and
Yeah.
the next generation
Exactly,
to keep
Sergio.
it. Yeah, and that's
Right.
everything else. You know, I really think it just makes it makes the mice run around in circles. You know, we have to understand our place and who we are in society. But that's why I said, knowing that the power of the resurrection, the Spirit of God, the Spirit of Christ dwells in the believer, man,
Yeah.
that just makes me just forget about all of everything else and all the conspiracies. And Ryan, I'm from California too, so I see all the badges on the cars, dude, and I see the lodges, I see the temples, and I see them, man. They're not, you know,
Have you ever been in there
shy.
and met them and talked to them and asked them?
I haven't, but you know what? I was attending a church a few years ago, and one of the wives, you know, she was a member. Her husband became a member of a temple of a Masonic lodge, and yeah, I can just tell you, you know, I'm not trying to disrespect the man, but he wasn't the brightest guy. He wasn't very aware. He wasn't very awake, and he didn't take spirituality serious. You know, and what I mean by that is, you know, the Spirit of God. So then, what was he doing? Join a Masonic lodge, you know, and proudly telling people and this. He wasn't doing anything. What I mean is, he mean no harm. I don't think they really know that much, like what you're saying. So then, what's going on here? Then it goes back to what Miss Vicky said. You know,
I personally think that there's a cult within a cult regarding Masons, and I think the lower level Masons, they might be reading from Bibles and this and other. But I've read a
Right,
few
that's what I'm trying
Masonic.
to say.
I read a few Masonic books, and one I read said that they believe in Jehovah, they believe in Christ as a consciousness. They also believe that it was Lucifer that freed Adam and Eve from Garden of Eden. You know, like
That's right. Yeah.
some
yeah,
iffy
like bottom
things going
line,
off,
the
like
harmless,
unless you've been a
the low
Mason and
level
been
ones.
involved in it, they're only what we can know. Like, but from some of the books I've looked at, like they're not believers in Christ like we are.
Yeah, what I'm saying is the low level ones are harmless. Bottom line.
Oh
Is what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
They
I've known
don't know
this
yet.
kid. I've known this kid. I
Not
used
yet.
to play. My wife is best friend with this woman, and her husband is a Mason, and her son. I watched him grow up. I've known him since he was 8 years old. He's now 30 something, and he was a master. Last year, he was a master Mason of his whatever you call that, right? And I've known the kid for a long time, and I asked him all a bunch of questions, a lot of the ones that you're talking about. And I'm telling you, when I asked him, I said, "How can you guys have a globe of the stars and a globe of the Earth when you know that the Earth is flat?" And he just smiled and giggled, and he goes, "You really think you believe that?" And I said, "Well, yeah, that's what everybody's saying. Like, I mean, look around. Haven't you seen people talking about it on social media?" He goes, "Yeah, but do you believe everything you hear on social media?" I said, "Well, no, but." He goes, "Dude, let's put it this way." He goes, "You know me." He goes, "You know me a long time." He goes, "I believe in the Bible just like you do." He goes, "I believe in Christ. I believe in Jesus being resurrected, all that stuff." He goes, "We have a Bible in the damn place where we do our church thing, where we do all our meetings every day." He goes, "We don't worship Satan, bro." He says, "That's all." He says, "I'm not going to argue with you about details," but he goes, "We don't. We read the same Bible you do." He says, "So I'm confused." And I said, "Really?" I said, "I kind of imagined that. I wasn't sure, and I wanted to be sure." And I said, "I didn't want to ask just anybody in the club because they might not know the answer." He goes, "Well, and at the time, he was a master for that. The whole year, he was a master of that thing. So, I mean, maybe he was lying to me, but I'm telling you, he didn't look. I mean, I know this kid. You know, I've seen him get drunk. You know, like I've been around him when he's being himself. You know what I'm saying? I know the kid. My wife parties with his wife. You know what I'm saying? They're best friends. You know what I'm saying? Like I've known him for a long time, and I don't believe that the things that I'm hearing in the media are true about him. I just don't. And he's a 33rd degree, so I mean, maybe there's
You know what?
escalons above that or something. But I mean, I really do find that hard to believe.
I want to say something too about that. You know what? You're free to have that opinion. Maybe you're right, and this makes me think that, or draws me to my thought of the people talked so bad about the Ashkenazi and the Jewish people right now who claim to be Jewish, right? Supposedly, and that's all I'll say. I say that because of the scriptures. What the scriptures say is that once God has one body now, and the Jewish people were a religious people, not a. Anyways, so what I'm saying is that like earlier, you know, I came from a group, and I didn't like that when they would talk bad about these people or make fun of them or play the videos and laugh at them or use their avatars to make. And it's just like, that's not what Christians should be doing, and shouldn't we love them and we don't have to tolerate what, you know, the evil, whatever evil you think is going on, and if you want to attribute to that person or that whole entire sect of race and religion, then okay, go for it, you know. But I'm just saying, like, even so, the Lord said, turn to your enemy, give him your other cheek when he hits you, and give him your coat when he wants, you know, something from you, not just.
Well, you're not going to hand a crazy person your daughter, right? And just say, here you go, have her.
Not literally. We have
you know
to
what I
use
mean?
wisdom.
Like,
We have to use wisdom.
right.
But what I'm saying though is that we're supposed to. Even Paul said, you know, as much as it lies within you, be at peace with all men. You know, and so what I'm saying is that I don't think we should attribute so much of the hate and so much of the enemy pointing the finger. That's the enemy. That's the Antichrist. That's the Antichrist. Like, look up what Antichrist means. Is anyone who denies Jesus Christ came in the flesh.
Yep.
Anyone who denies the Father and the Son. That's it. Yep. And guys, that's what made me think about, do I really know God? Because it says you deny the Father and the Son. What does that mean? You know, so that's why I don't want to, you know, just separate myself from believers, you know?
No, of course. Exactly. Yeah. You don't want to do that.
But I got about like
I always go to Proverbs. Anytime I have a question about what I should be learning about or whatever, I always read Proverbs over and over and over. It's always helped me. It always tells me you're supposed to seek wisdom. God put you here to seek wisdom. You're not here to be a dumbass and sit on your laurels. You're here to learn about stuff and understand it and try to teach it to other people. And you're a father. God created you to be a father for a reason. You're supposed to have kids, and you're supposed to teach your children. So you can't just let any old thing come along in your life and then people around you to just speak like that and talk about demons and teach your children that, right? So that you have to draw the line, right? So if you're doing that to protect your children, why wouldn't you do that to protect yourself? So I believe that, yeah, you have to separate yourself from it. But if you're going to go try to share the gospel with somebody, then that's a different angle, right? But I don't hang around with criminals, and I'm not friends with them. I know criminals, and I know people that are criminals, but I don't associate with them. I don't spend time with them. You know what I'm saying? Because I know better. I know they'll steal from me. I'm not stupid. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. Right. I mean, I get it. I think turning the other cheek thing. I think what that's talking about is when you're out and about, in order to stay out of trouble, in order to keep from being pulled down by the world and getting trapped into these things like people suing you for hitting their car or slamming on the brakes in front of you or whatever it is. It's talking about general understanding of the world and what you're supposed to be doing, what you're not, and what you know. And truth is, if when you die, if you get rewarded for all the good things and all the bad things people did to you and you didn't do anything back to them, if you get rewarded for that, then why wouldn't you think that you would get rewarded for actually sacrificing your life for that?
Yeah. Let me say
in order to help spread the truth, right? I mean, come on.
Ryan, let me say how you moving? How you doing? And I said, I think I said hello to family earlier as well, and KV, but I don't know if they heard me or not. It's you've been chatting a lot, so I haven't really looked at the chat much, but I've made a few of your mods and that as well.
Popping in before a date. Yeah. Enjoy yourself.
And Moomin says, I heard about turning the other cheek was more a challenge for them. They never hit with their left hand, the wiper, and never with the palm. Turning a cheek would mean one or the other. Who are we on about?
Hmm.
Who are we on about, Moomin?
It's on about what it says in the Bible, isn't it? I think.
Oh, okay. I thought just turning the cheek in general. I thought he was on about. I thought he was
Yeah,
on about.
he's. I think he's
Right.
siding with me a little bit. He's trying to say that
Oh, right.
turning the other cheek isn't about letting people beat the crap out of you. It's about
Yeah.
live and
Oh,
let
yeah.
live. When people, when somebody bumps into you, you don't beat the crap out of them because they did. If they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that," you just walk on, right? Like that's
Well,
what
that's
those
what
things are talking about.
I always say.
Yeah.
I always say when they say about turning the cheek, I say you've only got two cheeks. What you got to do after that? You know what I mean? You can only turn it so much. You don't let people.
Right? Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And you have to survive, right? Like you
I
can't
don't
just let some
think
guy stab you because he happens to be walking there with a knife. You don't just walk into him and go, "Here, stab me," or you don't just not worry about it. You walk on the other side of the street and get away from him. That's what.
Michael.
Yeah. I don't think like turning the other cheek means that you just a wiping map for everybody,
No, of course not. Definitely not. Definitely not. It says.
And I apologize for being aggressive, but I'm aggressive because I have to survive.
Can I make
It
a
says
comment?
forgive. It says forgive, but don't be a walkover. What, babe? Go for
You
it.
know, Ryan was on about his friend
Yeah.
who's a Mason,
Yeah.
and that. I'm not saying nobody's saying that they're bad people. We're just saying that we don't believe what
Yeah.
they do.
Definitely.
It's not a personal attack.
But
on
honestly,
them
if we haven't
individually.
actually joined and learned what they believe, how do we know? You know what I'm saying? We only
Look,
have what
right,
people tell us. And
right.
Let her
I'm
finish,
from a
Ryan.
middle
Let her
class
You're welcome to crack on
family.
and join them, Ryan. Like,
okay, I'm sorry.
I'm
Let-
from a middle class family, right, in the countryside, and I can tell you now there's loads of Masons. Are they all nice? No. Is every Christian nice? Probably not. But what I'm saying is, you're saying go and join it. I wouldn't join it. Look, I was brought up Catholic. Am I going to go in a Catholic church and start praying? Nah. Am I going to join a Mason and start doing what they're doing? Nah. Because
Yeah.
Me
it ain't
neither. I'm
about.
just saying.
It's not about that. It's about your faith in God.
To me, there's clearly we're talking about Masons, but we're talking about two different kinds. Like Ryan's talking about just normal people he knows who are Masons. What about all bad people,
Exactly.
criminals, judges, politicians, all these singers that are worshipping Satan? They're all Masons. How do you explain all them? Are they all good people?
No.
Well, what I'm trying to ask you is, how do we know for sure if we can't trust what they tell us? How do we know for sure that all these people are really Masons and that weren't just that quit the Masons and joined their club and they got paid for it and that's why they have power now? It's because they're given this power in order to say that, yeah, I'm a Mason, and how do we know that this isn't a big trick? You know what I'm saying? And these people are being manipulated and that we're actually attacking the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm looking for.
I knew a Mason, right? And do you know what he was done with? Armed robbery. So not all Masons are nice.
That
No, I will agree with you. We're all fault. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying,
name
you
one
know what I
poor
mean?
Mason. Name one Mason that's poor because there ain't none.
I think there's.
Well, I might be able to help you with that one.
I'm gonna let Michael drop. Please.
I personally think, like, regarding show business and Masons and that, you don't really get anywhere unless you're in that club. It's evidenced.
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember what one I like, but
yeah, there's no exposing.
I was
it at
watching
all.
an interview with this famous actor, like, and in his garage, he got a big square and compass on his garage floor. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not. Why are you doing all that if you're not really a Mason? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no disguising.
Like,
anymore.
you can tell, like, there's guitar players in bands got square and compass all up arm at guitar and that. You know what I mean? It's like you can't deny that they're in that club, and it's in everybody's faces.
Yeah, that's true.
I know, but I'm saying that's the media for you. And how do we know that any of that's true? Can we confirm it? All the details, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. It's just like whenever there's a shooting or there's a school thing or whatever. The first thing I want to know is where are the death certificates and where are the actual videos of it. Even though I don't necessarily want to see people get shot, I want to see the actual evidence before I believe. You know what I mean?
Where are you wanting to take it? Like, are you wanting to suggest that everybody's making out Masons to be bad and they're really, really not, and that God-fearing people? Like, where are you wanting to take it? Because that's not.
No, I'm saying. No, what I'm saying is if we don't know for sure who's really in charge and who's really putting all this out and whether or not it's true, factual events, then how can we get angry and hate on people or hate on one group or another? It's just separating us more. You see what I'm saying? It's making us it's more difficult for us to share information because we're all thinking that these people are not with us, and so we separate. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you can go on YouTube and you can find 1,000 videos of ex-Masons and their testimonies of how they've come to Christ and how they've left Mason. Just watch some of them, mate. And I don't know, like, but from what everything I've read, Masonic books, videos I've watched, in fact, I've got a good testimony on my channel of an ex-Mason. Everything I've seen and looked into suggests at some point in Masonry there's a satanic part to it, like, and whether you want to believe that or not, Ryan, I don't know, like, but that's what I've seen.
no, I've heard that.
And I truly believe that, like, you know, Jesus actually speaks about Masons, because Masonry all revolves around Solomon and his temple. Yeah, it all revolves around that. So why wouldn't Jesus be talking about Masons? Because they were clearly knocking about back in there then.
Do you know what it really symbolizes, though?
What?
Do you know what the temple is? Do you understand what the temple is?
Solomon's temple and all rights surround.
It's your head. It's your mind.
Solomon's temple.
It's not. It's all about Solomon. I've got
your body is a temple. Think about it.
I've got some books knocking about on PDF, Ryan, where I'll send you, and then you might better look into it. But I'm talking from what I've read and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's fine. If you got stuff, send it to me, please. I'm curious about it, but like I said, I'm defending it because of my friend. You know, I'm going to defend him because I just can't see him lying to me, but he might be. I mean, I'm not saying that, but I'm smart enough to know when everybody's lying to me. You know what I'm saying? But
there's this guy called Iram Abifa or something like that, and he supposedly had this sacred word, and it died with him. And like the pursuit of Masonry is to find out what this word is. You know, you can't tell me Masonry is from God, not from what I've looked into. I'm sorry.
The best thing I would do is just stay what I know is true and just be after God's own heart. What does that mean? You know, and to me, you can't go wrong with just learning about God. You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Masonry, if that's where, you know, maybe it might be some kind of pit stop that you're making on your journey, you know, considering it, or at least just what they see. Not that you're, you know, considering it, but you know what I mean. Like just considering the study of it. Like what do, and
I just want to know what the truth of it is, so I know who to be mad at or who to avoid. You know.
Yeah, I think you're onto something about that. Is you want to know, exactly that, and who's behind it. And I watched a movie recently, and a few months ago, and the guy said, you know, the scary thing is, he said, there's no one in control. You think that there's all these evil, you know, elites or all this evil, whatever. I forgot how he put it. And we know that there are these very selfish and wicked men, but he said, really, at the top, he said, there's no one in control. He said, that's the scariest part. And I'm starting to kind of believe that after, you know, the whole movie of it being apocalyptic or this or that. What I took away most was that. I keep thinking about that. I said, what if no one is in control and we're literally just doing this to ourselves? I said, could you imagine just if that was true? And now again, like I said, there is wickedness, but what I'm saying, because we left to ourselves are wicked, you know.
There's got to be a group somewhere doing Satan's work, boots on ground work on earth. You know, there has to be.
Yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying, man.
Any other way.
I mean, look,
for instance,
don't have Christ.
We know the astronauts are Masons, you know, Buzz Aldrin, the Masons, provably, like, and these guys claim to go to somewhere that's not physically possible to go to, so they're liars and they're in on it somehow, and that's linked into Masonry as well. You know, so
what I do see
somewhere
Michael,
there's somebody knows knows more than everybody else, and they're trying to keep
But
everybody
I've also
else.
seen those astronauts break down when you ask them to swear on the Bible that they went to space.
Yeah.
I see the rich families, like what you're talking about, Michael, and how they're associated, and I do see that. And what I see the most thing, like it keeps going back to this: the money, the control, and the ones with the most of it. Guess what? They got the most control. And Mason or not, who knows? I don't know, but definitely not downplaying them.
But like, I also think that even if these people are doing these evil things, I think they're deceived as well, because from what I gather, Satan loves no man, even if they're doing work for him. Like, I think
Exactly.
the money is the dangled carrot to these people. You know what I mean? They'll sell their own mother for money type person.
Yeah.
Think they gain something from doing this, but really they'll just be shat on the same as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I already sold my mum for money. Sorry, Mum. Sorry, Mummy.
Did you get much for her?
No, I'll get her back from Cash Converters. I'll get her back from Cash Converters next week. I have to buy her
Yeah,
back.
where are those virgins and all that stuff you're supposed to get?
That's your mother.
She doesn't
Can't
watch.
say
She doesn't watch.
no, but
I was only
someone will
kidding.
crop that and put it on a video.
That's all right. My mum will laugh at that.
Oh, goodness.
I'm not going to say out because my mother's probably watching.
I'll sell mine. I don't talk to her.
Help, Mum, if
I
you're
just saw
out.
mine this morning.
I think instead of maybe looking into different things and what different sectors of whatever do, maybe just concentrate on your relationship with God, because then you're not going to get lost. Going down rabbit holes.
That's a good point. I'll take that advice.
You've got to be careful looking into things that we're not necessarily ever going to be able to find out.
Yeah.
And
no way, my missus got some wisdom, man.
We've seen people on YouTube. We've seen people who lose the
But
way.
damn it, Michael, I enjoy learning about stuff. I want to know lots of things. I'm a curious person.
But
why did God make me curious and give me this gift of gab and all this if he didn't want me to do something with it?
Does God want you to be looking at what sun is though and that stuff like that? You know, when he says knowledge and stuff like that, does it mean that though?
No.
Does it mean knowledge
That's a good
about him?
question, but I'll ask him.
I can't help forget him saying to Nicodemus, like, what it Nicodemus when he says like, you don't understand things on earth. How can I tell you about things in heaven? You know?
Yeah, that's true.
It's like
you want the answers to the questions you can't get answered.
So you think he's saying not to worry about those things, or you should learn about things in there?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, the focus of our faith is Jesus. You know, is Christ Himself.
Ryan, do you honestly think you're ever going to know what stars are or what sun is in your lifetime? Do you really think you're going to discover that?
No.
No, I'm not looking for that. That's not what I'm looking for.
No, I'm just giving that as an instance. Like, so unless you're going to join Masonry, you're not going to know, are you?
No, that's it.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say that earlier. Is I'm not willing to join it to find out for sure, but.
And like, don't forget, Mason is supposed to be a secret club, like, and you go in talking to Masons and they're telling you everything that they're doing. How do you know that they're telling you the truth, mate? Supposed to
if it was just anybody, it would be one thing, but I mean, he didn't necessarily answer my questions. It's just I know the kid, and the way he answered them kind of gave me an. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you don't know it's supposed to be penalty of death for a Mason for speaking out about what they do behind them closed doors.
That's right. Yeah.
So like, I can't understand how all these Masons are telling people what they're doing and what they're not doing. You know, it don't make sense as a secret club.
Can I ask? Do you think, say, like Scientologists? No, right? Do you think they believe in what they say? Because we know
the ones
they're
that have been
wrong.
indoctrinated do.
Exactly.
Not the heads, babe. I wouldn't say. Like,
I think everybody's an individual and they believe what they want to.
No, I was talking. Howard Hubble, I wouldn't say would. Is it Howard Hubble? Yeah.
I'd liken it exactly the same to like
Howard Hubble. Am I getting his name wrong? Is that who started Scientology? Hubble.
Yeah, L.
Ron Hubble. So I said Howard.
L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, Hubbard, not Hubble. Wow, what an idiot, PJ. But yeah,
My point was,
He didn't believe it. He was just a monkey dude.
No,
were-
but my point was the
They're all
people
devil
that have
worshippers, though,
joined-
aren't they?
Yeah,
When
of course they are.
L. Ron Hubbard were mates with that Jack Parsons, weren't he?
That's right. Aye. Baby, say again. What?
my point was they joined and believed something. It doesn't make it right.
No, of course not. Well, paying
Look at-
to get these alien demons out of you, yeah, for a start. You know what I mean? Why did they need money to get to exercise something out of you if they could just? Do you know what I mean? What's the money in that? Like
but-
someone is demonically possessed and they get deliverance. Say,
I'm not on about faith
Why should
now,
that
but
cost?
all religions are man-made, and they are.
of course, they
All
are. Religion
religions
is
are
man-made.
man-made.
Of course.
If
But,
you looked into every single religion and what their proof of what they believe is,
Scientism.
you're going to go down a big
Yeah,
hole.
cool. It is cool.
Scientism.
Well, that might be true. Yeah, that's why I'm sticking with the Bible I got.
And I think
And right here, it says,
it's
"If thou
the only
seekest
thing you
after
can concentrate on is your faith and not what other people believe and why they believe it, because we ain't never going to know.
In Proverbs it says, "My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee," in other words, remember my commandments, "so thou incline thine ear unto wisdom." What is he talking about? "And apply thine heart to understanding. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge, and liftest up thy voice for understanding, and if thou seekest her as silver, and searchest for her," in other words, wisdom, "for her hidden treasures, then thou shalt understand and fear the Lord, and find the knowledge of God." Do you really think that ignoring everything and always being worried about and paranoid about it is really going to get you to that point? I'm not sure, but this is what I hear. I hear my Bible telling me this.
Do you
God
think,
himself.
yeah, but do you think your Bible's
He
telling
wants
you
me
to
to learn.
spend
He
hours
wants me to understand it.
Your knowledge of
Is he
God and
wanting you
Jesus.
to look into
I'm not saying I'm going to go
Freemasonry,
study their religion. What I'm saying is that I think there's more to it, and I think we're pointing the finger at the wrong people. I'm saying we need to work on people individually instead of working on blaming it on Masons or blaming it on anybody. Because how do we know any of that's true? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying I'm going to go study all their religions. I don't want to know what the Masons worship, because I believe it's a clan, and I don't want to be part of that. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to hate them or blame them for everything in the whole world that went wrong just because they claim that every person in the world that's done these things is a Mason. You know what I'm saying? You get where I'm coming from? I'm not really defending anything, because if I find out I'm wrong, I'll still be against it, and I'm still not going to join the club. You know what I'm saying? So that's why sometimes I don't understand what you mean when you say, I'm going to go down this road and waste my time and all this. I get where you're going, and I usually don't dig too deep. You know what I'm saying? If I start
I
getting with
didn't
the
say
willies,
waste
but
your time. I
There's
said
nothing wrong with
yeah.
there's
that
nothing wrong
time
with
should be spent on your relationship with Jesus and God.
there's
Is
lo-
all
there's,
I
there's
said.
no
I didn't say waste your time. You can
But-
do
Yeah,
what
no,
you
no.
want to
But
do.
the issue,
no problem investigating
issue
these
for
things. Just
me-
don't get lost in them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the issue for me is, are you expecting to find out whether Masons are in charge of this world or not, Ryan? Is that what you're up to find out?
no, I don't really care. That's not the point I was
I
making.
don't
But
understand. I don't
I was
understand.
bringing it up because it was part of the conversation.
I don't understand what you hope to achieve by looking and knowing about this stuff.
I'm just trying to figure out who's really my enemy. That's what I'm trying to figure out, because I think that's important.
It says
So that
seek
has to
first
be
his
your
kingdom.
Ryan,
Babe, hold on a
You know what
second.
I'm
It says
saying?
hold on.
Ryan,
It says
Bible
seek
tells
first
you
his
these
kingdom
things.
and all seek first his kingdom and all his righteousness, and all these things will be added. You know what I mean? It's
That's
What
why.
does
Yeah, that's
Ephesians-
why I'm getting my information from the Bible.
What does
Yeah.
Ephesians 6 tell you, Ryan? We wrestle against flesh and blood, not
Yeah.
each other. We're dealing with
We don't listen. We
we're
deal
dealing
with
with fallen angels.
That means
and
we're dealing
demons.
with the demons. Exactly.
Mhm.
And so if the Masons are putting out symbols and signs that talk about and show us what demons are and that they're involved, then how is that evil if they're just, you know what I'm saying? I just don't understand. I'm
No,
trying to figure this all out and understand, like,
I ain't said they're
what it
evil,
means.
but
I don't get it.
I ain't said they're evil, but they clearly can make their own choice whether they want to be a
Deceiving.
Mason for a start, and then
Yeah, we all should.
if then during that Masonry they get into Satanism, well,
Mhm.
that's also going to be their choice as well. That like they're making their own bed
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
But where are we getting? Who said that though? Who said that that's what they were doing? That's what I'm asking the question of. That's all I'm asking.
Well,
Who's
I've just
saying that
told
and
you.
where's the evidence for it?
You can go and get, you can find a rake of videos on YouTube with supposed Masons who've left and become Christians. Watch them and see what they say about it.
Okay. That's
You know
a
what?
good idea.
Someone
But,
told
like-
me we were having a conversation about one thing. I forgot what it was, but I know it was about scripture and God. Anyway, I was getting really animated, and the guy tells me, you know, he's a close friend of mine. He says, Sergio, calm down. He's like, you need to be more calm, and you know, it's okay, and you know, you have time to figure it out. And he says, just be more calm about it, you know, in your journey. And I see how passionate you are, and I really admire
he
that.
is. He is
But
definitely
my
passionate.
advice to you is what he gave to me. You know, in your journey, in this passion journey, and I continue, and I tell you to continue it, but just be more calm about it, and just know that, you know, just know your place, you know, under God and with God and in God, and just be
Yeah,
calm
see,
about
like,
it.
man,
You'll get some answers, man.
Even pursuit of knowing things could become an idol, you know.
Yeah.
And I think
you'll get
I
answers.
think, and I'm going to speak myself included. None of us spend enough time knowing God. We spend
No.
too much time watching YouTube, talking about flat Earth,
Yeah, I
talking
agree.
about,
I agree.
you know, what I mean, we talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
spend way too much time. We could be reading Bible or sat praying,
Yeah.
fasting, whatever.
especially when I don't do it enough as it is, you know.
Exactly. But I
Absolutely.
think
I don't
I
know, I think-
personally would
yeah.
spend that time strengthening my relationship with God instead of looking at why other people do what they do.
Hey PJ,
Cool.
you want to finish the video, and then I'm gonna head out like at 2:30 or
Yeah,
whatever
Yes.
time it is.
I'm going to
Yeah.
get off soon as well.
Right.
Yeah, no,
it's gonna
well,
go
listen,
after.
there's no point in finishing it. It's only a couple of minutes long. We diverted off that anyway. I was just going to say, I'll have a 2-song play out. I've picked a Foo Fighters one. Somebody else pick one.
Can you play any song? Can you play that one we were talking about, that Newsboys one? That's mint.
Which one?
That Newsboys.
What's new? What's that?
Yeah, that what you're telling me, that Christian band that you're telling me about the other night.
News? I wasn't
Flat
telling you about
Boys.
news. I've never heard of
Yeah,
that one.
so you, Flats, and Jeff.
Oh, no,
were
I
talking about-
didn't know that one. I didn't know that one. I know Matt Redman and all that, but I didn't know that one.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
get you.
search for it then.
I'll get you a link for it then.
Right, go for it. Go for it. So I'm going for a secular and a Christian one. Sorry, guys, for the mix. Mhm.
I'd have put a totally different song on.
I did see your
I
message.
also find it
Sergio.
interesting that Proverbs, the first Proverbs 1:1 says the Proverbs of Solomon. That's fine.
They're all about Solomon and Masons.
Yeah, absolutely.
The King of England was Mason.
Don't forget,
He's a
Solomon
Mason.
were messing about with demons and all, right?
Mm. Well, yeah, he did. He did go wayward, didn't he? Him and his magic ring.
So he made a lot of mistakes and then he wrote a book.
Mini Mop.
What's she doing, babe? What's she doing?
Growling.
Oh, it's all right. See, lightning, no problem, man. There's no trolls on this channel anyway, so it's just for everybody to be equal at the minute. You know what I
I'll
mean?
get rid of them all. Michael's put the link in the private chat.
Oh, right. Okay. Of course, I ain't got it up. I've got the YouTube up, so I didn't see it initially.
I've never heard of this band before, like a Christian band, and it was brought. Jeff had been to watch them or something like, and I
Right.
listened to it and I thought it's mint. This like,
So,
Whenever I listen to Christian music, PJ's like, "Are you actually listening to Christian music?" I'm like, "Yeah."
yeah. Oh.
yes, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming, guys. Bless yous. And
Take
you,
care,
Sunset's
everybody.
free. It's free indeed.
Peace.
Good night, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Do you know something? When I'm saying bye, I always look about and I don't look at the camera. I'm stupid, aren't I? Because I'm looking at the screen. Bless you guys. Good night.